to get him north. In the sticks so the guys can move. The guys can move into it, but that goes off the skate, and that's going to be the icing call going against the Wild. The referees, by the way, are senior guy Wes McCauley is going to be the senior guy here, along with Francis Chiron. Also in the lines, it'll be Scott Sherry and David Briesbaum. Big game for them also, and the officials get all jacked up for these games as well, Joe. It's not an easy. They just don't put their uniform on and step on the ice. They have to get themselves ready.
Frost thrown from the draw. Well, no, now he's allowed back in. He was backing out. His teammate in Philly, and now again in Calgary, Farabee was about to replace him, but Frost allowed back in the circle. Now another reset here. Third time's a charm, we hope. Draw to the right of Philip Gustafsson.
Well, the draws are so important, especially if you're in the defensive end.
Frost and Eriksson Ek on the draw. Frost won it. Farabee to the left point. Ball to Farabee on the pop-out play. Shot blocked by Eriksson Ek, and it ricochets all the way down. Eriksson Ek to pressure Farabee deep in the flame zone and run him down to the end glass. Eriksson Ek now comes up with the puck after Foligno dug it free. Eriksson Ek to the point. Chisholm fakes a drive. Got it to Spurgeon for a shot at ricochet just wide. Chisholm pitches in. Rims it around. Foligno up top. Spurgeon on the pop-out play. Boldy at center point. Right circle. Foligno has a lead. Took a shot. Wolf the save. It's loose for a moment. And Dustin Wolf, a former 7th round draft pick, on top of it to get a whistle.
And that all started because of the sequence that was set up by Joel Eriksson Ek going in, just separating the puck from the Calgary Flame player, and as a result of that, Minnesota gets in a couple of opportunities with shots to the net.
8:09 left in the opening period. Gustafsson letting the officials know he's letting Spurgeon know to tell one of the referees we got some form of debris on the ice. It might be one of the... That was a cup.
Yeah.
Looked like a plastic cup.
I guess what it was. It must have fallen out of the referee's pocket.
Yeah. Weird how that would have happened. Wild win the draw. Favor right point. Handed along Zuccarello. Forced out to center ice. Hustling backcourt though Brodin. He'll keep the Wild out of troubles. He finds Kaprizov. He was stripped, but it deflects back into the flame zone. Wolf out with his goal stick. Sent it around the glass over the head of Zuccarello. It's picked up by Coleman, the 2-time Stanley Cup champ in Tampa. His feed through center was Aaron. Quickly along, it's Brodin to Rossi. Tapped off for Zuccarello. Left wing wall offensive zone. Into the corner for Rossi. A return pass. Nothing there. The Flames a 2-on-2 the other way. Crisscrossing Coronado with play Coleman. Coleman trying to slip around Brodin. And as we see so often, not much there.
Yeah, he's such a good defenseman. And when you look at Brodin, what he can do defensively, not much offensive time, but he moves the puck out of the zone so well.
The Wild now chisel one in. Wolf out with his goal stick. Clearing attempt by Calgary blocked. Again, Wolf back of his cage. Filtered it to Bean. Bean jabbed it along the wall. Bogosian pinched in. Chopped it along the glass. Calgary comes up with it. Rooney hands it back. And Braden Pahal smacks a pass along for Rooney. Rooney over the offensive line. Left it to Lomberg with a shot. Blocked away by Rossi. It ends up coming to Jake Bean, left point. Filtered it for a chance by Pospisil. That was blocked. Boy, the crowd's been up in arms over something the last couple of minutes here. Merrill sprinkles one ahead. Rossi swats at it and trickles it in to the Flame zone as both teams finish a change. Under 7 minutes to go in the first. Shots are 8-5 Flames, no score. Here is Kadri darting in. Try to fire one in front, broken up by the Wild. Johansson, headman. Nyquist, sprayed up. Connected with Goudreau. Left circle a shot. Blocked by Anderson off the glass and into the netting for a whistle with 6:34 left in the first, and we're still scoreless in Calgary.
Yeah, Nyquist has been a nice addition to this hockey club also. It took him a while to get adjusted to Minnesota again. It's that second stint with Minnesota. But he's able to find a home here right now with the Wild. Hopefully that will continue. But he's a good offensive player that plays defensive part of the game as well.
Goudreau and Kadri on the draw. So Kadri won it. Rasmus Andersson chips it out the center. Bouncing puck that's grabbed by Spurgeon inside his own blue line. His feet blocked by the big Adam Klapka. Now a chance for Kadri in the slot. And Spurgeon able to mute that one off his end wall. Huberdeau tried to center. Chisholm took the puck away, rolled it to the right of Gustafson. Kadri's there, bumped by Spurgeon down below the goal line. Declan Chisholm bottled up. Huberdeau trying to filter it in front. It came free for Klapka. Spurgeon took it away from him, and he'll lead the charge up left wing side for Minnesota. Jared Spurgeon gains the red line, pokes it straight up into the air and in. Both teams try to get a line change. Johansson on the forecheck. Rasmus Andersson drilled it around the boards. Trenyon read it, cut it off. Yakov Trenyon trying to come up with this puck. Wanted the center, but Klapka is there. Klapka gave it away. Brodin's big glass block. That hobbled Frost, but he wore it well. And Huberdeau now in the neutral zone. Twists it along for Frost. Frost over the blue line. In the wild zone, left it back for Pospisil. Cutting through the high slot, shooting one. Stick save Gustafson. Rebound to Hanley for a drive. Big rebound, it's loose. Tipping it away was Hartman, but it's held in by the Flames. Uyghur to Hanley, now Sharon Govich, a shot. Ricochet, what a save by Gustafson! It's loose in the low slot. It comes free for Uyghur outside the right circle. Pitched along to Sharon Govich. He'll hand it back to Hanley. The Wild in some trouble here. Hanley, a shot deflected wide and jammed back through the blue paint out the left side, where Trenyon will soar it ahead and get it out the center.
Boy, that was going, and that was just grabbed with that big glove of his, left glove, and kept it up from going over the line.
Here's Backlund right back over for the Flames. Left it off. Fanning on a chance was Coleman. He kind of took his eye off of it. Trenyon trying to poke it free for Hartman. And now Trenyon just swings it off the right wing boards all the way down. This will be icing on Minnesota. The crowd more engaged than they've been at any point here tonight.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. And right now the faceoff is going to come back deep in the Minnesota zone.
That battle saved by Gustafson, Tom. It was trickling, it was rolling, and it was an inch from the goal line. He sprawled out to his right and got a chunk of it.
Yeah, he pulled it back with his stick and got it with that big left glove, got a piece of it, but he hit it also away, and the Calgary Flames coming very close to making this a 1-0 game, but goaltending makes a difference in playoff hockey.
I mean, a half inch, maybe less, from the Flames taking a lead. Backlund behind the Minnesota net. As Calgary won the draw, they center. Toe drag move by Coronado, well defended by Minnesota. They bank it out the center. The Wild in need of a change. Hartman stays out, realizing the Wild hadn't gotten the puck very far through the neutral zone. Faber with a feed that deflected along. Hinostroza skies it into the wheelhouse of Joel Eriksson-Ek. He chips it off the boards. Foligno and Eriksson-Ek on the forecheck. Eriksson there. Heavy collision between Anderson and Foligno. Flames come up with it. They break it up. The ice by Spurgeon. Coronado filtered it back. Churn partially off the hit of Bogosian. Flames trying to dig it free. Bogosian now just scoops out the center. He needs to trying to now, as the Wild really could never complete that change from the last sequence in their own zone. Joel Hanley at the red line left side. Blasts it in. It deflects around, bounces past Uyghur. Back out the center, but the last couple of minutes the Flames have had the momentum. Under 4 minutes to go in the first. No score. Uyghur dances along for Rossi and rockets into the crowd. And it appears everybody's okay with 3. .45 to go in the first.
Yeah, that was close. Heading Fleury, who's sitting just behind the main.
There's nobody home for the Flames as they're in the middle of making a change, and here comes Foligno in for the Wild. Foligno's pass over to Boldy's, broke it up. And now Sharon Govich will give it to Klappa, who blindly backhands it in the Wild zone. As the Flames make another change, and Frost gets in there with a forecheck. Frost drops to Pospisil, it bounces by him, back to Pahal, who slides a left point to Bean. Bean, give it to Sharon Govich, who tries a shot. It's blocked by Eric Sinek. Sharon Govich, though, does hold it in and dump it in behind the Wild net. Pat, the Flames are playing fast in this first period. It's fun to watch, isn't it?
Yep, and they're forcing Minnesota to weather a storm here almost for a full 20.
Squirt out to the neutral zone. Nyquist bumped off the puck by Sharon Govich. Hall, give it to Bean. Bean rags the puck. Flames complete a change. Now gives it back to Pahal. Pahal bounce it off Coleman's stick. Wide of Gustafson's net. And Chisholm will take over for the Wild. He gives it to Spurgeon. Makes a quick pass to Gaudreau. And he'll send it out to center ahead to Nyquist. Nyquist, shot that goes bouncing wide of Wolf's net is Hanley. Slip it up the near side to Coleman. And he'll clear it out to center. Chisholm. Fire it back in from the red line. Wolf, some good hand-eye coordination, knocks it down and gives it to Hanley. Moves it to Backward. And he'll drop it to Uyghur. Flips it out to center to Coronado. He gloves it down and bounces it in. Coleman gets in there with the forecheck for the Flames and takes down Spurgeon. Coleman has it near half boards. He'll spin. Play it in behind the net to Kadri. Kadri bounces it back to the right point to Uyghur. Uyghur returns the puck to Kadri. Kadri drops it back to Uyghur, who winds and fires at his stop. It's loose and knocked wide of the net by Coleman. Another close call for the Flames. Puck will score it in front, and Johansson will take over and slowly skate it up the right wing side and cut across and move it ahead to Rossi, who brings it in. Rossi tries to drop to Kaprizov, but that pass is broken up by Huberdeau, and there's the horn to signal the end of the opening period. And in what is realistically a do-or-die game for the Flames, they respond. I think that was a fantastic first period for the home team as they outshoot the visiting Wild 15-7. Actually, check that. They just took one shot off the shot clock, 14-7. And Michael Backlund scores the game's only goal. It is the Flames 1 and the Wild nothing through 20 minutes tonight.
A lot to like about that first period for Calgary. They put pucks towards the net. They were all over the Wild on the forecheck. They made Philip Gustafson work, and they scored the first goal of the game. They get on the board, so they're rewarded for that first 20 minutes as well. So plenty to like in period number 1 for Calgary.
And they were probably unlucky not to score at least one more goal. They certainly had a lot of grade A chances in the opening 20 minutes tonight. No special teams to tell you about. No Flames power plays built by Homes by Avi. Looking for a quickie? Homes by Avi has quick possession homes to get you moving fast. Visit homesbyavi.com today. We'll get to some more first period stats in a second. But first, let's send it over to Pat.
Okay, let's head downstairs after 20 minutes of play and check in with Flames defenseman Joel Hanley. Joel, what did you make of period number 1 for your group?
I thought it was a great period. We knew it was going to be somewhat of a playoff-style game, and I thought the boys came out hungry, and we were first on pucks, and we were lucky enough to get one. We maybe should have had 2, but it was a great period.
You were a part of that first goal. I know you don't get an assist on the play, but what did you see as Michael Backlund opened the scoring?
Weeksy gave me a DDD pass that hopped over my stick, and one of the keys is keeping away from the goalie, and I didn't do that there, but lucky enough, Colsey was first on the forecheck and made a great play, and then backs went hard to the net and capitalized.
I would imagine just keep on doing what you're doing. Would that be the key for the final 40 minutes here?
Yeah, I think so. Just keep it going, play our game, and come out strong here in the second.
Joel, appreciate the time. Good luck in the second, hey?
Thank you.
Joel Hanley after 20 minutes of play as the Flames have a 1-0 lead here on the Minnesota Wild.
Pat Nacho, as his teammates call him, did not get an assist on the 1-0 goal, but he did equal his career high with 2 assists and 2 points in the Flames' 4-3 overtime loss to the Ducks on Wednesday, and he has been an absolute savior for the Flames on defense, playing top-pairing minutes with Mackenzie Weegar for a good chunk of the season, and good to hear from him following the first period tonight. As I mentioned, the Flames did not have a power play, so nothing to report on the Homes by Avi power play. The Wild didn't have a power play either, as the Flames continue to play disciplined hockey. That means no Flames penalty kills, powered by Wolf Cadillac Calgary. Take advantage of grand opening specials, including credit offers of up to $20,000 on select new 2024 models at Wolf Cadillac Calgary's brand new Stanley dealership at 756 101 Street Southwest, just off of Stony Trail and Old Banff Coach Road. And now it is time to send it over to Logan Gordon, who is filling in for Pat Steinberg, who is filling in for Megan Mickelson. 6 degrees of separation there, as Logan has our Prairie Honda first intermission.
Thanks, Derek. Here with Matty Rose. First intermission brought to you by Prairie Honda. Need more power and efficiency in your lineup? Meet the 2025 Honda Civic Hybrid with rates from 2.99%. Visit prairiehonda.ca. Well, Matty, I'm not sure you can draw it up much better for the Calgary Flames. And must-win scenario against a good Minnesota team. And as we talked to you, look at the shot clock, 14-7 for Calgary, 1-0 on the scoreboard. Ryan Huska's got to be happy about that.
He has to be. There was a lot of pushback from what was a really disappointing end to that road trip in Anaheim, right? And you listen to the post-game comments and you see how that game kind of slipped away from their grasp, and you wonder, how are they going to come out in this game when it almost feels like you're really, like, you can't lose this one, right? You need to win this one in regulation. And we had the team come out and just gangbusters out of the gate. Shots on goal, great scoring chances. Philip Gustafson is able to sweep one off of the goal line to make it just a 1-goal lead here for the Calgary Flames. But overall, really liked what they were able to do in the opening period. And the captain, like you heard from Joel Hanley, going hard to the net, creating a little bit of an extra scoring chance there and getting the Flames an early lead.
Well, and as Joel Hanley said there, it might have been 2. That great save by Philip Gustafson. A puck goes towards the front of the net from Yegor Sharangovich. It goes off of Morgan Frost and maybe a Minnesota defenseman. It's not going fast, Matty, but Gustafson still has to react, pull that one off of the goal line. If you're the Flames, you might be unlucky to not be up 2-0 after the first.
Without a doubt, right? And granted, the Wild came right back after the Flames scored their first goal, and they rang one off the post on a nice deflection try that Rossi had on the kind of shot pass from Kaprizov there as well. So the Wild certainly aren't out of it. Kaprizov has looked dangerous when he's had the puck on his stick, but this has been a physical game. The Flames aren't backing down from what isn't just a good Minnesota team, but a big, heavy Minnesota team. So they came out really strong in the first period. Could maybe be up by 2, but you can't think about that. You just got to keep chipping away and try and add even more to this lead. The Flames have beat the Wild in the prior 2 meetings this season, but they've been 1-goal games. They've been relatively high scoring by kind of the standards that the Flames certainly play at, a 5-4 and a 4-3 victory against the Wild in the regular season. You're going to need to keep going, because there are a handful of different guys on this Wild team that can put the puck in the back of the net.
No special teams opportunities in period 1 for either team, Matty, and I know that's something we'll watch for after an 0-for-6 in Anaheim, how the power play responds for the Calgary Flames. Going to be a big one. Haven't had a chance to do that yet. We know the penalty kill's been good pretty much since the Four Nations, but as soon as we get that first opportunity, no doubt there's going to be a spotlight on the power play units for Calgary.
Well, for sure, right? Especially that first unit. I thought that the last power play they had in that game against Anaheim was their best one, but overall it was a pretty not so great effort against a Ducks team that isn't necessarily very good at killing penalties to start. So that's certainly going to be something to keep an eye out for the Flames. And you got to make sure you stay out of the box as well, right? This is a Wild power play. It's only ranked 17th, but you don't want to be giving up any extra chances. I thought Dustin Wolf did a really solid job when he was tested. One of the things that stood out was just the way he's, as always, tracking pucks. There was one that kind of bounced around amongst some feet, and he was able to kind of reach out with his glove hand and get a cover on it when none of his defensemen were aware of where the puck was, and kind of get a real key stoppage for them, as at some points they were a little bit under pressure.
How do we like that period from Adam Klapka? You mentioned the physicality. Yeah. He plays .605, gets a shot on goal, credited with 2 hits in that period as well. Pretty much every time I saw him skate towards his bench, he was in it with some sort of member of the Minnesota Wild, whether it was Marcus Foligno. I saw Marco Rossi having a word with him too. When he's engaged, when he's moving his feet, there's a pretty special player there, and we've seen some of that tonight.
Well, and I guess you could say the Flames could almost be up 3-0 because he has that one that bounces to him. He's the only one that sees it,
right off
and he
the
gives
skate.
it a slap, and it just goes off Gustafson's skate. Gustafson had no idea where that one was. Instead of going off the skate and in, it goes off the skate and gets ricocheted up into the netting too, right? But I really did like Klapka. I didn't love how he ended that game against Anaheim, and I thought, are they going to make a change on that top line? It would have been pretty easy for head coach Ryan Huska to switch something else up there, but instead he's able to send out Klapka, and the big man has been really engaged here so far. He is one of the more physical players on this Flames team. He can play with a little bit more grit than a lot of the other players, so it's good to see him out there and having some success early on, getting on the forecheck, hanging around the crease, getting mixed up with the opposition. That's what you want to see from Big 43.
He's Matty Rose. I'm Logan Gordon. We're filling in for Pat Steinberg on your intermissions on this Flames game day. Flames up 1-0 over the Minnesota Wild through 20 minutes here at the Scotiabank Saddledome. We're live in the Peter Maher broadcast booth, brought to you by South Point Toyota. Get in and go under the tower with hundreds of new Toyotas arriving daily. Get financing as low as 0% OAC, 0 down, and no payments until September 2025. First intermission coverage continues next. This is Flames Hockey on Sportsnet 960 The Fan.
On air and online, this is your home of Calgary Flames Hockey. Brought to you by Homes by Abbey and Country Hills Ford. Sportsnet 960, The Fan.
Country Hills Ford, Brent speaking.
Hey, Brent. It's your wife, Jody, on line 2.
Oh, hey. What's up?
I'm looking for a quickie.
A quickie? Now?
Brent, I'm talking about a quick oil change.
You bet, because at Country Hills Ford, we now offer no appointment express lane service.
Fast, friendly, and convenient. Drive in for your no-appointment oil change today at Country Hills Ford. Only minutes from the Calgary Airport.
Shane Homes duplexes blend a single-family home lifestyle with the affordability of a shared wall.
Pass the yell test.
Built for peace and quiet, you'll never know your neighbor cheers for the rival team. Shane Homes, keeping peace between neighbors all hockey season long. With 5 communities to choose from throughout Calgary, Airdrie, and Chestermere, your new home is waiting to be built. Learn more at shanehomes.com.
What is the program for him right now? I know he's still out, at the Frozen Four here, but what do you plan on doing?
He was there at the Hobie ceremony today. Nothing official has been finalized yet, but we have a plan in place for him that we'll see come to fruition here in the coming days.
And what I like about it, he's a defenseman. Of course, you can never have enough defensemen.
No, that's nice to be able to have in the stable here. And you're exactly right. You hope it's a long playoff run, and you need all hands on deck.
What would you expect to see from Minnesota coming into the second period?
I think we could push the pace a little bit more. I think the transition game coming out of our zone and play more in their zone. I think, again, we can create turnovers. We can create opportunity with our speed, and the more we're on their half of the ice, the better.
Appreciate you being here.
You bet. Thanks for
Mike
having
Murray,
me.
our guest here, the Assistant General Manager of the Wild. Kevin, let's go back to you.
Very good for joining us in the intermission. We'll get him a gift certificate down to Tom Reed's Hockey City Pub. After one period of play in Calgary, the Wild trailed the Flames 1-0. We'll recap it next. This is Wild Hockey presented by XL Energy.
As a business leader, every day brings countless decisions. Some big, some small, some easy, and some you need to sleep on. Work with a banker who gets you, gets your business, and can help you make the right decisions to meet your goals. So you're not just navigating between choices, you're planning your success. Work with Bremer Bank, because understanding is everything. Put us to work for you today at bremer.com.
We are gathered here to... what's with the blanket?
Oh, it's my Securian blanket. It's an unsubtle metaphor for the security I feel knowing I have smart insurance and retirement solutions from Securian Financial.
I see. And, sir, do you also trust Securian Financial with your insurance and retirement solutions?
I do.
Prepare for your future. Talk to your employer, affinity group, or a financial professional to get started. Learn more at Securian.com.
Insurance issued by subsidiary companies. Securian Financial Services. Member FINRA.
As the official partner of the Minnesota Wild, Enterprise is ready to go that extra mile. We're dedicated to the most dedicated fans in the game. And with us on your team, you can move forward with confidence, knowing we've got your back. We're always available with mobility solutions, whether you need a rental, replacement, truck, or even tailored business strategies. At Enterprise, your goal is our goal, and we're ready with the assist.
Join us each night for Tom Reed's Hotline. Simply text in your comment or question at 64686. That's 64686. One lucky fan will win dinner at Tom Reed's Hockey City Pub or a pair of tickets to an upcoming Wild game. Hotline. You can't win if you don't send in your question. So text Tom right now at 64686 and listen to tonight's Hotline.
Still cutting through the high slot, shooting one, stick save Gustafson, rebound to Hanley for a drive, big rebound, it's loose, tipping it away was Hartman, but it's held in by the Flames. Uyghur to Hanley, now Sharon Govich, a shot, ricochet, what a save by Gustafson!
Yeah, what a save indeed. Philip Gustafson, one of 13 saves in that first period, dives back and keeps the puck out of the net just in the nick of time, keeps it a scoreless hockey game. I said he made 13 saves in the period. He wishes it was 14.
Gustafson in favor of some miscommunication here. Gustafson, and they score. The puck was ripped in from center. Gustafson played it. Faber wasn't ready for it. Quick shot on net, and the rebound banged home by Backlund. That's a mistake for Minnesota. The Flames have a 1-0 lead.
Yeah, number 11 gets another big goal for his hockey club.
Yeah, it'll be the 13th of the year for Backlund, set up by Coleman. Turnover in bad part of the ice for the Wild. They pay for it. It's 1-0 in favor of the Flames. They score at the 16:25 mark, and that's your score after one period of play. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. You're listening to Wild Hockey, presented by XL Energy.
Centers.
Hockey comes
Here's
alive.
Pedersen scores.
Only Sirius XM NHL Network Radio.
Flames lead 1-0. The second is next from the Saddle Dome. You're listening to Wild Hockey, presented by XL Energy.
Cub has everything you need. Fresh food, big savings, and your family's favorites, all in one stop. No running around, just one trip and you're done. Get Smithfield spiral sliced or portion half ham for $1.69 per pound with MyCub Rewards. Fresh boneless skinless chicken breasts in a value pack is $2.49 per pound. And 16-ounce strawberries are 2 for $5 with MyCub Rewards. Grab these deals and more at Cub, your one-stop shop. See store for details.
Hey Wild fans, Minnesota-based and family-owned Old Dutch Foods has been creating taste sensations for generations of hometown Wild fans for over 90 years. Stock up on your favorite Old Dutch Game Day snacks at your local grocery stores to make Game Day a win. Old Dutch is a proud supporter of Wild hockey. Let's go Wild.
Old Dutch potato chips. Old Dutch the snappy chips.
Old Dutch, quality lives here.
Old Dutch potato chips.
Saving for retirement was tough enough for us.
Yes, and navigating markets can be challenging at times.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we take a disciplined approach with your investments.
Tell us more about that.
We take an active approach to money management, positioning your portfolio for opportunities we see ahead.
So all your clients get the same portfolio?
No, we tailor your portfolio to your individual goals and needs.
What about communication? We don't like being left in the dark.
We check in regularly to keep you informed on the markets and your portfolio.
Which means you'll help us stay on track.
Yes, our goal is your comfortable retirement. And as a fiduciary, we always put your interests first. Because we do better when you do better. At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Take the leap. Make a splash. You want to keep up with your granddaughter. After all, she keeps you young. And a sore knee, back, or shoulder doesn't have to take that away. At TRIA, our physical therapist will help you treat whatever's holding you back. We use the latest therapy techniques and equipment to decrease pain and accelerate healing. With TRIA by your side, your body can do amazing things. Visit TRIA.com to make an appointment.
We are gathered here to... what's with the blanket?
Oh, it's my Securian blanket. It's an unsubtle metaphor for the security I feel knowing I have smart insurance and retirement solutions from Securian Financial.
I see. And, sir, do you also trust Securian Financial with your insurance and retirement solutions?
I do.
Prepare for your future. Talk to your employer, affinity group, or a financial professional to get started. Learn more at Securian.com.
Insurance issued by subsidiary companies. Securian Financial Services. Member FINRA.
Second period in Calgary. The Wild trail the Flames 1-0. Joe O'Donnell, Tom Reed with you. Wild from right to left on your radio dial in the second. Flames skating from left to right. Tom, what needs to improve for Minnesota in period two?
Well, I think in talking to Mike Murray, also the fact they got to move the puck a little bit quicker, come out of their own zone and try and get that puck going north as much as they possibly can. And, of course, we expected the Flames to come out and be strong in that first period. And that usually settles in after that first period. So Minnesota now has a chance here. Minnesota's had their chances also. 7 shots, but Wolf was good at the other end, did what he had to do, and that's keep the puck out of the net.
Puck went into the Wild bench right off the hop. Another draw here early in the second. One back by the Flames. Rasmus Anderson poked it ahead. Stolen by Brodin. He'll find Matt Boldy. Boldy over the offensive blue line left side. Just squeezed it down low. Ball around the Flames net with a left wing toss that Huberdeau was able to gather. He sprung it ahead. Nothing there. Foligno lost it to Kadri. Nazem Kadri. Jonathan Huberdeau. Return pass. Swallowed up by Boldy. Foligno comes up with it for a moment. Now Faber in his right wing corner. Around his net to Jonas Brodin. The Wild look to change as Brodin starts up, spins back and angles it to Faber. Right back to Brodin. Brodin slowly ahead. Up ice. Boldy with a backhand tip in. Kaprizov pressures on the forecheck. Hanley reverse to his right side. Mackenzie Weegar just carves it along. Knocked down by the glove of Chisholm. He'll touch it next, so no hand pass, and then feed to Corello, who swerves back inside the Wild blue line. Zuccarello had 3 assists and 9 shot attempts Wednesday in the Wild's overtime victory. Minnesota places puck in. The Flames immediately up ice for Coleman, then looking for Coronado. Barely onside, will bash it around the Wild end wall. Backlund was there. He's got the game's only goal. Twisted back around to the left of Gustafsson. Coronado with a shot. Kick save Gustafsson. Big rebound in the Wild slot. Picked up by Kaprizov. He's taken off the puck. Backlund now a side angle chance. Gustafsson knocked that away from trouble. Spurgeon to Kaprizov. Tipped along for Rossi. And Rossi just swings it out through center. Rossi has 5 points in the season series against the Flames. This, of course, the third and final meeting between these two teams. As Chisholm's back to try and gather. He went D to D. Spurgeon was crunched immediately. Behind the net of Gustafsson, the two teams battle for it. Nyquist had it taken away. Morgan Frost spins. Nyquist knocked him down. Centering feed by Pospisil, broken up by Spurgeon. Pospisil now left wing hash marks into the corner for Frost. No interchange. Frost handed it off. A quick shot, gloved and held by Gustafsson as Jake Bean pinched in, activating from the blue line. Gustafsson, the glove save.
Yeah, Flames have done a nice job in the offensive zone, especially at the start of this second period. They played 1 minute and 57 seconds, but they control things, moving the puck quickly, tape to tape, and moving their feet also. And that's what Minnesota has to get possession of the puck and get that puck going north quickly.
Now Jared Spurgeon is being helped to the Wild bench here by one of the linesmen.
This is not what they need.
Spurgeon sits down on the bench.
Yeah,
John Worley immediately looks at him. He's laboring.
Yeah, he is laboring, and he's kind of bent over there on the bench. Now he's being assisted by John Worley to the restroom. That's a huge loss for Minnesota.
See if we get a look on the TV monitor of what might have happened to Spurgeon. Here is another look at it. In front of the net was Sharon Govich. Boy, he almost had a hold on to Sharon Govich where he was going to fall over. And the linesman was really helping him off the ice there. I didn't see anything. Here's a steal by Nyquist, offensive zone. Fired a shot wide. Bogosian keeps in right point. Jake Middleton day-to-day for the Wild, unable to go in this one. Seems to be feeling better every day. John Merrill played just 2 minutes and 50 seconds in the first. The Wild right now down to 5D. So it's got check time on the blue line for the Wild, trailing this game 1-0 as Bogosian just banks the puck out to center ice from deep in his own zone to the left of Gustafsson. The Flames fire it right back in, and this is an icing call in Calgary. That was a scary situation there with Spurgeon, just the way he went off, and it seemed like he needed assistance. I couldn't tell upper body, lower body. He looked like he was struggling.
You have no idea at all, and we won't get a report on that till after, and even then they're a little guarded of what they're going to say, but you're right now. Minnesota's got to play almost 2 full periods now without their captain and one of their leaders on that blue line. Obviously, 5 guys have got to carry the workload once again. This has been like this for Minnesota all season long. When does this end?
And the Wild need 3 points, or 3 lost points by Calgary, or just a win tonight. Clinch a berth in the playoffs. Kaprizov to the point off the one draw. Brodin to Faber. Angled it to Zuccarello. Fumbled it for a moment. Outside the right circle. Lasered it down low where Kaprizov is swarmed. And now Sharon Govich just chisels it along. Pospisil batted it out of midair. Gapped up by Faber. That creates a turnover. Here's Kaprizov over the red line. Moving a pass looking for Faber. Bounced away. Backlund swings it up. Rossi was back covering. And now Faber to just slash at it. Didn't get it out. Coronado with a shot. Shouldered away by Gustafsson. Faber in his own right wing corner. D to D. Brodin left side headman. Zuccarello had it taken away. Backlund over the blue line. Left circle. A shot knocked down. Rebound push just wide. Backlund's got it. Coming around the net of Gustafsson. Turned and shot one. And Gustafsson fought it off with his goal stick. Flames buzzing again. Coronado. And now eventually Backlund through the high slot. Turning and shooting one. Kicked out by Gustafsson on the tip by Coleman.
Well, that would have been a sure goal.
Zuccarello flings it in as he hits the red line. Carefully blockered away by Gustafsson. Rossi dumped by Coleman. Chisholm steals at center. Goes D to D. It's flipped in by Bogosian. Wolf could not stop it back of his cage. Mackenzie Weegar picks it up. Weegar stopped behind his own net. Fed it to Coleman. He was run by Trenyon as he cleared out the center. Bogosian looking for Hartman. But Joel Hanley is there. Hanley and Weegar play catch. Joel Hanley, 3 points his last 3 games. The puck comes in on Wolf. He has to stick it aside. Weegar cleared it up, not out. Knocked down by Foligno. Foligno tapping it along for Hartman. Hartman spins left circle, dropped it back. Past Jam Chisholm a bit. Handled it well. Got Bogosian now to Hartman. For a fanned one-timer that ends up off the Flames end wall. Foligno raced to it, cycled it off Hinostroza. Vinny Hinostroza trying to spin here as they battle to the right of Wolf. Puck jostled Just kind of jabbed along. Flames got it out to center. Wild do not clear the line properly. This is an offside call on Minnesota. So a little scrambly sequence there with 4:23 gone by in the second.
Yeah, I was watching Trennan also on the ice, and he, I think, was having an equipment problem. He's facing the opposite way right now, sitting on the bench. I think there may be a problem with that skate. Whether the blade came off or not, I'm not sure, but he's getting some assistance down there.
And Tom, say Jared Spurgeon doesn't return, and with the back-to-back tomorrow in Vancouver, and Middleton's not ready, Cam Crotty would have to come in and make his Wild regular season debut. Yeah, he's the only other defenseman on the trip.
Yeah, he's a big body, but at the same time, he hasn't played a great deal in the NHL.
Steve Bouillon, first-round draft pick, just finished up with the Denver Pioneers. They lost in the Frozen Four last night. He's not expected to join the team, though, until the Wild return back to the Twin Cities after the game Saturday in Vancouver. Ball to Anderson. Up ice, Klapka tips along, Kadri through the high slot, weaving, got hammered down. He ran into Boldy and Foligno and got sandwiched there. Now Boldy pushes the pace for Minnesota over the offensive blue line. Dance free for a moment, then too many red jerseys around. He's come to the ice. And 6'8" Adam Klapka carries ahead for the Flames. In onside, no, offside, a late whistle. Halts this rush for the Flames.
Well, that's what I said before. The Flames are going to use that size as best they can. They are being physical against Minnesota right now, and Minnesota's got to find a way to combat that. And the best way to do it is by using your speed. Face-off is going to be on the penalty box side, just outside the defensive end of Minnesota. Shots right now 19-8 in favor of the home team. Shots in the second period 5-2 in favor of the guys in red.
Wild fire one along. It comes in on Wolf, who knocks it aside and pushes it free for Braden Pahal. Now Jake Bean, pressured and swarmed by Gustav Nyquist. The Wild steal on the forecheck, but Freddie Gaudreau's pass at the skates of Bogosian. And Sharon Govich carries Calgary ahead. They'll feed Martin Pospisil with some room. Right side, a shot, they score. Sharon Govich tips it in. It's 2-0 Calgary.
Sharon Govich comes in from the side, just stick down on the ice, and all of a sudden that puck hits it, and just a redirecting with that. The Flames have taken a 2-0 lead here. That is Sharon Govich. That's his 15th goal of the season, and gives his team a 2-0 lead. And that's a tough one coming in from that side also, and certainly the goaltender had no chance on that one. And so this goal coming at 5 minutes and 31 seconds of the second period.
15th of the year for Sharon Govich, going back-to-back games for the native of Belarus. And as I mentioned earlier, for whatever reason, he has haunted the Wild. 8 points in 10 career games, now 7 in his last 6 against Minnesota. Still no return for Spurgeon.
15th of the year, scored by number 17, Yegor Sharangovich. Assist number 76, Martin Pospisil.
Wild go loose puck here with Faber carrying in right side. Deep into the offensive zone, trickled it along looking for Hinostroza. Hartman keeps the Wild in business. Back of the net for Calgary is Jake Bean, who was bumped by Trenyan before just after he rolled it free to Rooney. And now Bean, the weak side D, takes a pass and carries along, getting it to Joel Farabee, who has run to the ditch. That creates a turnover. Flames have numbers back. Hartman slows the pace down, crosses the blue line, angles to the right side, floated one in. Easy save there for Wolf. Wild just 2 second period shots. The Flames credit was 6 so far. Chisholm on a breakout left side, soars it along. Kaprizov tipping it in open ice. Trying to race to it. Wolf with his goal stick there first. Poked it free. Mackenzie Weegar guiding it along. Coleman chunked it free for Backlund. Crisscrossing with Coronado. Michael Backlund. Wrapped up by Kaprizov and then bumped by Bogosian. Down in his right wing corner for Minnesota's Declan Chisholm. His pass rattled off a body. Handled for a moment by Zuccarello. He lost it. Backlund deep into the Wild zone with a shot. Left wing wall gloved by Gustafsson.
Yeah, those situations like that, Gus just grabs onto that one. That slows things down a little bit and see if Minnesota can win something on the draws here. That's been an area, obviously, that has been a nemesis for Minnesota. Right now, though, they have increased up to 48%. which is a big plus. Get a chance to scrape the ice.
13-10 left, second period. The Wild in some trouble here from the Scotiabank Saddledome, trailing the Flames 2-0. You're listening to Wild Hockey, presented by XL Energy.
What is up, Daddy Gang? It is your founding father, Alex Cooper. I am so excited for you guys to hear Unwell On Air, your one-stop destination for all things trending, curated by me. All of your favorite content from the Unwell Network, plus exclusive new live shows that keep you in the know. We're breaking down the latest in pop culture and opening up the phone lines because I want you to join the conversation. Oh my God, let's go. Unwell On Air, exclusively on the SiriusXM app.
NHL Morning Skate.
December 15th, Vancouver Canucks were in the playoffs. And this is when they had that big controversy going on. So they had to do something about it. And they did do something about it. Well, now they're not in the playoffs. You know what? They're not even really close anymore. This is the most absurd season falling apart. The most disappointing team this season of the 32 are the Vancouver Canucks.
NHL Morning Skate with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stiller. Weekdays 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app. The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
General manager of the Winnipeg Jets, Kevin Cheveldayoff. What would finishing first overall mean to the organization, Kevin?
Well, I think any time that, you can finish in an area where you're getting recognized, it's special. But again, the important thing for us is process. Is when we buy into playing the way we need to play, then, we feel comfortable that we'll win more games than not. And then you let the chips fall where they may.
The Power Play, weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app.
Possibly.
Two goals, both by the Calgary Flames. Back in the first period, it was going to be back on his 13th of the season. Now Saragovich gets his 15th here in period number 2. Right now the face-off deep in the Minnesota zone to the right of Philip Gustafsson.
Eriksson and Kadri on the draw. Still no return of Jared Spurgeon. Wild athletic trainers and John Worley and Brian Grogeski are back on the bench. Don't see Travis Green as part of the medical staff. Of course, a lot of times when you're on the road, you kind of pass off the injured player to the team docs. Here's Kadri around the Wild net, try to center. Ricochets up top. Anderson through the slot with a wrister blocked. Foligno able to absorb that penalty call coming on Minnesota. Anderson in the front of the net, intercepted by Brodin. But the Flames leading 2-0 are going to go to a man advantage.
25, Minnesota's got a minor a hook.
That's Wes McCauley. You know where you stand with him when he calls a penalty. It's going to be a hooking call, and with that, Minnesota will be shorthanded. This will be the first penalty of this hockey game. Minnesota trailing by 2-0. Shots right now are 20-10 in favor of the Flames.
Tom, the Flames power play is scuffling a bit. 0 for 6 Wednesday, just 2 goals over their last 7 games. Ryan Husker, their head coach, said they've got to have better pace. They've got to move the puck quicker. But for whatever reason, against the Wild, in 2 meetings prior to this one, they're 4 for 5. So a big spot in this hockey game. I know there's a ton of time left, but Wild really don't want to get behind the 8 ball any further. Left side off the draw, Coronado a shot. And that rose off of Gustafsson and out of play.
Well, penalties are a big part of it. When you get the playoffs, penalties are a big reason why some teams lose a lot of games, and you want to stay out of the box, and everybody knows it, but just sometimes you get in a situation where a penalty could be a good penalty also. Sometimes you have to do those things just to thwart the effort from the other side.
Draw to the right of Gustafsson. Penalty killers are Foligno, Goudreau, Merrill in favor. Goudreau nudged it back. Flames come up with it though. Coronado tried to center. Comes up top. Kadri right circle. Shooting. Scores. And it's all Flames. 3-0 Calgary.
Well, it's going to be Kadri. He's been their leader, no question about it. Number 91 makes it work for his squad right now with the man advantage, and that's a huge goal for them, a 3-goal lead here. And we're not even halfway through this hockey game yet. This goal coming at 7 minutes and 23 seconds, and just screens in front. And you, as a goaltender also, you're trying to put yourself in a position that you can see where that puck is coming from, and it just came to the left of the goaltender as Gus was facing towards the blue line.
I mean, I never saw it. Traffic in front. Kadri's 32nd of the year, and it's really got check time for Minnesota. Flames now 5 for 6 on the man advantage against Minnesota in the season series. Breakout pass for Rossi, feeds Zuccarello, looking for Kaprizov. That didn't connect cleanly. Back is Uyghur, faked a big blast, rolled it around his end wall. Coleman chiseled it up, not out. Rossi fired one in front, and it was deflected around. Uyghur to his left on his backhand, knifed it through center. Blake Coleman forcing it along, rolls through the wild slot. Bogosian. And you wonder what the mindset is of Minnesota, Tom, seeing Spurgeon laboring as he went off the ice a few minutes back, and since then the Flames smelling blood in the water.
Yeah, they certainly are. And, that's what you do. When you get those opportunities, you make the most of them. That's a good opportunity for the Flames right now. And right now, Minnesota's going to be called on the icing call, and that's going to bring the faceoff back deep in the Minnesota zone. This is an area that we talk about all the time, and Minnesota's got to find a way to step up here. They have been much better in the second period on the faceoffs than they were in the first period, but they have a 3-goal deficit to overcome right now.
Shots are 21-10 Calgary. They've outshot the Wild in each of the previous 2 meetings. Rossi on the draw against Morgan Frost. Rossi won it back cleanly. Bogosian hustles it off the top of the dasher right side. Zuccarello tipped out to the neutral zone. Ball has it. Lost it for a moment to Kaprizov, and a penalty call. This is on Kaprizov. Wow. Not much there in the neutral zone.
Minnesota number 97, minor penalty for hooking.
2 penalties in Minnesota, both for hooking. And this one coming at 8 minutes, 24 seconds. And, of course, the Flames got their second goal on the power play just a few moments ago. That came at 5:31. This goal by Kadri, I should say, was a power play goal at 7:23.
Flames win another draw. Uyghur to the left circle, in with a shot. Coronado blocker save Gustafsson. Coronado to his own rebound, bottled up by Faber. Puck comes to Morgan Frost now, center, nobody home. Foligno to his left, snaps it down the length of the ice.
Yeah, Minnesota has scored 4 shorthanded goals on the year.
Flames from deep out of their own zone. A drop pass from Uyghur connects with Morgan Frost. Frost wheels ahead, pushed it left side, jabbed along by Huberdeau. Now Foligno to his left, looking for a Brodin deep in Minnesota ice. Another pass by the Flames, stolen by the Wild. Shoved along for Freddie Gaudreau to knuckle it down right side. Nearing the midway point of regulation. Win and they're in for the Wild, but down 3-0 here in Calgary. Coronado plays catch with Frost as the Flames power play works its way in. Kadri got 20 goals on home ice. Back of the net, Coronado goes back to Kadri. Up top, Rasmus Andersson. Right back to Kadri, who just scored on the power play. He'll survey. Over to Andersson, a drive. It's in the belly of Gustafsson.
Yeah, good passing play between the Flames back on that blue line, also led by Kadri, but that shot coming from the far side, and that's Gus once again just going down and taking that shot in the midsection. That'll keep the faceoff to his right with 10:27 to go here in the second period.
Remember, the Wild play tomorrow night, Vancouver. Canucks won in Denver last night. They are home and waiting for the Wild. They've been eliminated from playoff contention, but have won back-to-back games on the road against top-end Central Division teams in Dallas and Calgary. Merrill below his goal line. Skies it around the glass. Bouncing puck, Sharangovich barely kept in. Stoked it back of the Wild net. Bogosian fires it around past Anderson and all the way down. 30 seconds left on the minor to Kaprizov. Wolf hands it to Rasmus Andersson. Second round pick in 2015. Throws it up ice. Backlund sends it in. Merrill absorbed a hit. Got it to Bogosian. Chipped along looking for Eriksson. Flames are there first with Farabee to Anderson. A bouncing return pass. Knocked away by Bogosian and swatted through center. Kaprizov out of the box in 10 seconds as the Flames try to re-enter. This play is offside.
Yeah, I'm seeing 2 open spots on that Minnesota bench also right now. I'm just wondering, obviously we know that Spurgeon has gone to the dressing room. I figure it's hard to see from our angle here.
So a draw out at center ice. Flames win it, wind it in. Bouncing puck out away from Brodin. A favorable pair on there for Calgary. Calgary, but Brodin strips Kevin Rooney, and Rossi now flings an aerial pass for Faber. Leads the rush, charges in, dropped it off Kaprizov, just fresh out of the penalty box. He lost it. Hanley couldn't clear. Kaprizov on his backhand. Bottled up. Rossi digs it free. Left side, Zuccarello waiting. Centers. Rossi lost it. Lomber tips it along and gets it out the center. Brodin on a regroup. Looking for Kaprizov, shy in the red line, right wing boards. Kirill Kaprizov with 3 points in his return to the lineup Wednesday. It's been rather quiet here in the early going. Zuccarello refines Kaprizov, knifed his way in. Great pass for Faber. Backdoor. Zuccarello threw one in front. Nobody home.
Boy, golden opportunity. Minnesota has not had many of them. That was a good opportunity for them to put the puck in the net, but couldn't do it.
Here's Backlund at the center line, paddling it in. Faber. His right wing corner, help from Zuccarello, rimmed it around. Hall waits for it for Calgary. Slammed it back behind the net of Gustafson. Faber charged to it. Just nudged it around Zuccarello. His pass stolen. It comes up point. Braden Pahal shoots one. Gustafson found it late. Rebound. Squeezed just wide. Gustafson couldn't corral it cleanly on the first pit. Here's Coronado around the roulette wheel with a long shot. Slowed down in front by Minnesota. Nyquist chips it out the center. But boy, the Flames really skating, Tom. Minnesota has almost no time and space.
No, you're absolutely right. They're skating, but they haven't, but the reason for that is because they're having a 3-0 lead. They don't want to give up anything.
Brodin, the breakout pass. Nyquist taps along. Zuccarello just skies ahead. Jake Bean back for it. 8 minutes left in the second period. Wild in full-on comeback mode. Coronado races in. Feeds it to Kadri, twisting one in front. It knuckled off a body and is picked up by Minnesota's Marcus Johansson, who cruises through center. Johansson over the offensive blue line, a drop pass, nobody home. And the Flames get it out to center, where it's knocked back in by Chisholm. Handled by Wolf and just kind of pushed away a ball. Ball's able to gain the red line and frisbee it in. Bouncing puck to the left of Gustafson. Grabbed by the Wild's Freddie Gaudreau. Smacked it along looking for Johansson, who got interfracted with the center ice. But icing is waved off here. Klapka tried to tip one free. Kadri has to skate to it. Left wing side in his own zone. Nazem Kadri hits the red line, slows the pace down, and just wheels it in behind the Wild cage. Calgary changing on the fly as John Merrill escapes some pressure. His pass for Gaudreau was a touch too far. It ricochets around at center. Gaudreau trying to nudge it in, couldn't. Flames a little out of sorts. They spring one back in their own zone incidentally. So Calgary now with a full sheet of ice in front of them. Sharangovich at center, slowed down. Hinostroza picks it up and rumbles in for the Wild. Vinny Hinostroza charging in. The right of Wolf fired a shot off the crossbar goalpost junction. Centering feet now. Brodin, a shot that rose over the net off a pass from Boldy. Penalty call coming on Calgary here. Hinostroza got one to Hartman at the point. Jabbed it in front. Stolen by Uyghur. The Wild are going to get their first power play down 3-0 late in the second.
Yeah, it's going to be a tripping call going against the Flames, and Minnesota needs some help here right now.
Calgary number 17, minor penalty for tripping.
So with that, Minnesota will go on the offense hopefully.
Timeout on the ice. 13-19 played in the second. The Wild down 3-0, heading to a power play in Calgary after this. You're listening to Wild Hockey, presented by XL Energy.
Can Wonderland is an epic indoor mini golf course with 18 holes built by teams of local artists, surrounded by a jaw-dropping retro arcade of over 125 rare, nostalgic pinball and video games, along with awesome one-of-a-kind specialty amusements. Can Wonderland is the place to go for fun for all ages, families, groups, team building, and celebrations of any kind. Set your tee time for mini golf and enjoy tasty food and drinks. There's something for everyone at Can Wonderland. That's CanCanWonderland.com.
Beautiful mountains, wide open spaces, bustling cities and towns. There's a lot to love in our home states. And at Xcel Energy, we take pride in helping our local communities thrive. Beyond providing reliable energy, we help support the local economy and fund education with grants. Because your home is our home. And together, we can make it a better place to live, work, learn, and play. See how at excelenergy.com/community.
Scoreboard update.
Well, the Hobie Baker has been awarded.
2025 Hobie Baker Memorial Award winner is Isaac Howard.
Congrats to Isaac Howard. Zeke William, the Wild prospect, finishes a runner-up. His team lost last night to Western Michigan, and Western Michigan will advance to face off against Boston University in the Frozen Four final because BU took out Penn State. 3-1 was the final in that one last night. Back to Joe and Tom.
Well, Minnesota going on the power play. Sharon Grovich gets a tripping call against him. The faceoff will be deep in the Calgary zone to the right of their guy, who's been very not a lot of work, obviously, when you look at goaltenders. They want work, Joe, there's no question about it, but when you're not getting that many shots, it's a little bit lonesome back there by yourself. But Dustin Wolf has done his job he's had to do so far.
Shot by Boldy off the one face-off, tipped off the outside of the net. Wild power play, scored 3 times Wednesday, second time this year with 3 in a game. Here's Boldy, high slot, filtering a shot block, came back to him. Caprice off a drive, big save, Wolf. Rebound jabbed around, Eriksson dives. Sprayed it to the point for Boldy. Left side, rims it around, Kaprizov waits on his backhand. Up top, Boldy. And Boldy had it stabbed away by Backlund out the center. Boldy back on a regroup. Headman's Kaprizov carries over the offensive blue line. Feeds Eriksson right circle. Stopped at the hash marks in the flame zone. Eriksson connects with Kaprizov. Eriksson goes to the front of the net. As it's worked up top for Boldy. Top of the right circle, Kaprizov. Aerial feed Zuccarello. Walks his way in. Zuccarello from the goal line. Tried to center. Rossi's hurried shot, not much behind it. Power play to buck 10. Rossi to Zuccarello. Tried a quick pass. It was blocked. Zuccarello looked for it. He lost sight of it. Played Coleman. Scoops a backhander all the way down. Yeah, you gotta have your eyes on the puck all the time. Coleman's able to pick it up and get it all the way down. Gustafsson will just set it up on a tee for Boldy. Eriksson off. Nyquist replaces him. Boldy on a drop pass. Here is Kirill Kaprizov. Dancing along, lost it. And the Flames shove it down. Rossi tries to scurry back just ahead of Rooney. He does. And now Boldy onto the tape of Zuccarello. Matt Zuccarello through the neutral zone. Hits the red line. Now at the offensive blue line, a pass, nobody there. Zuccarello tried to charge to himself, and again, the Flames send it down. Yeah, Minnesota just a little bit lax in some of their areas right now, the passing being one of them. Second unit out, 25 seconds left on the minor to Sharon Govich. Just 5 minutes now to go in the second period. Great pass by Boldy. In onside, Hartman. Hartman got a shot off, and a penalty call coming on Calgary as Wolf made the stick save. We got a holding call, and a brief 5-on-3 for Minnesota. Yeah, good effort by Hartman going right to the net there. Got grabbed at the last second, and as a result, Minnesota will be back on the power play. Here's the call.
Calgary number 4, minor penalty for holding.
Big part of their penalty kill, Rasmus Andersson to the box. Great pass by Boldy to send Hartman in on a partial break. The Wild do have a 5-on-3 goal this season. Are they going to use their timeout here? They are, Tom.
Yeah, not a bad idea. Might as well use it at some point.
So just 18 seconds on a 5-on-3, but Jason King's got the whiteboard out as he's got his power play unit huddled around him. 4:58 left in the second period. Big spot here for the Wild, trying to crawl back into this one, down 3-0 in Calgary.
Yep. Well, joining us for Tom Reed's hotline following the second period. Text in your comments at 64686, and one random listener will win a pair of tickets to the regular season finale. That's next week against the Anaheim Ducks. So Anderson goes to the penalty box right now. Minnesota back on the power play.
Eriksson has Zuccarello to his left. Boldy over his left shoulder. Rossi to his right. Kaprizov outside the circle over the right shoulder of Eriksson. Draw to the right of Dustin Wolf. 3 Flames penalty killers are Backlund, Weegar, and Ball. Big face-off here. Backlund won it, tapped a long ball, chips it back along Weegar, hustled to it, carved it out and all the way down.
And once again, losing the draw, and it gives the Flames a chance to kill off some valuable seconds on the PK.
Zuccarello swings it back to Kaprizov with one power play now over. Feeds Eriksson right circle down low off the end wall. Zuccarello jammed it through the goal mouth, nobody there. Rossi to gather it outside the right circle, goal line pass, Kaprizov. Rink wide dish, tipped around, grabbed by Zuccarello, left wing hash marks. He'll survey, Matt Zuccarello, weaving one in front, it knuckled towards the blue paint, and Wolf's got it underneath it. Eriksson in front there, took a couple of chops from Kevin Ball, and he took umbrage with that.
Well, it was after the whistle also. Make the call.
Tom, this morning, John Hines talked about Eriksson, said he's at the net front with a purpose, and that he's got no fear being there.
No, and as hard as the checks are coming his way, and a lot of them to the head and so on, he's right back there in the next shift. I mean, he does not back off at all. The ball had his way with him at that time, and the referees, the cross checks really bothered me a lot.
Yep, and it was 2 right to the bottom of the number 4 on his jersey. Neither call. Rooney and Eriksson Ek on the draw. The 5-on-4 power play for Minnesota, trying to find some life in Calgary. 4:20 left in the second, minute 20 left on the power play. Kaprizov gathers right wing dasher from his skates to his stick. His path to the point stolen. And the Flames bring it down. Here's Boldy from back deep in his own zone. Matt Boldy carving ahead. Pushes it back for Kaprizov. He's got a full head of steam. Kirill Kaprizov over the offensive blue line. Fed Eriksson Ek right wing wall. Back to Kaprizov. Wrapped up by Pahal. Dumped down by Pahal. Puck comes free for Rooney. And they'll skate along a few strides. Rossi picked his pocket, though, at center. And the Wild have it again. But running out of time here on this power play. Late stages of the second. Boldy up ice. It tips in. Wolf with his goal stick out. Lost it. Kaprizov jammed it off of Wolf, but he's able to swallow it up. Eriksson Ek and Pahal now in a shoving match. Hanley joins the scrum. So does Kaprizov. So does Rossi.
Well, that's because of the hits that takes place after the whistle.
Boy, Pahal and Kaprizov really up in each other's kitchen. Eriksson Ek's being headlocked here by Hanley and Rooney. Rossi's trying to get in there. 2 linesmen in there as well. And I don't think any penalties coming. Cooler heads prevail. 34 seconds left on the power play. Down to 3:32 left in the second. The Flames have the only 2 goals in this period, and they've got a 3-0 lead.
And I understand the Wild also. Call the penalties. Why not call the cross checks? What is the problem with that? Do they not see them? They're standing right there. And then it just escalates. If you know you can get away with something, you'll continue to do it.
Draw coming to the right of Wolf. Hartman and Backlund on the tie-up. Hartman won it cleanly. Johansson peeled it up high. Faber shoves it to Freddie Gaudreau. Outside the left circle, Gaudreau dances down low. Peeled it back up top left point, Faber. Once more, Gaudreau at the hash marks. Freddie Gaudreau tried to slide one down low. Cut off. Not clear. Faber holds in. Backhand pass for Hartman outside the right circle. Shooting one. He pushed it wide. It'll kick off the boards and back out to center. Dozen seconds to go in the power play. Gaudreau through the neutral zone. Hartman kicked it in. Here's Wolf out with his goal stick. Rolled it around, and Weegar blasted off Gaudreau and out to center. Anderson's out. Flames kill off the brief 5-on-3, and the Wild power play 0 for 2. And this place electric again with less than 3 minutes left in the second, and the Wild down 3-0. Hinostroza from the red line bounced one in and took a crazy carom. Eventually, Kadri has it. Brodin stares him down. Goes deeper in the Wild zone where Kadri looked like he hooked Brodin a bit as those two battle for a puck. Trenyon and Huberdeau also in there. Poke free, Hinostroza trying to slash it along. Huberdeau, top of the right circle, had it batted off his tape. Kadri's there, his pass, fanned on. Hinostroza whips it across the ice. Hanley and Johansson come together. And now in the neutral zone, Hinostroza gets to a loose puck, charges in. Left it back for Hartman, right circle, a shot blocker save Wolf. Knocking into the corner. Hinostroza trying to come up with it against Rasmus Andersson. Kadri there to support. Center ice breakout pass Huberdeau. And now Klapka to wheel it ahead out through center. Klapka trying to step around Merrill, and John Merrill defended that play nicely. Chisholm with a feed. Tipped along. Batted up then by Hartman. Tried to chuck it free for Trenyon. That was a little out of sync. And the Flames take over again. Big minute, 45 seconds left in this frame. Can the Wild get on the board here? Sharon Govich, a wrister off a broken play. Glove save Gustafson, able to hang on.
Yeah, it looked like it was going to be easy play, and all of a sudden Sharon Govich had that long stick. And you mentioned before how deadly he has been against Minnesota, Joe, and you're absolutely right. But he just takes that quick shot, quick release right onto the net.
Final break of the second. The Wild trail 3-0 in Calgary. You're listening to Wild Hockey, presented by Xcel Energy.
You have a job and a paycheck. Sure, that usually works for keeping your finances on track. But there are times when having access to the money you've already worked for can be a game changer. In between times are the ones that can make a big difference in your life. In comes Daily Pay. With Daily Pay, you can access your earned wages when you want them. Because your hard work happens on the daily, you should be able to reap your rewards on the daily. Find out if your company offers Daily Pay. Visit us at get.dailypay.com.
No
matter who you are or what you do, there's a Ford vehicle that can help you own the day. Make life on the go a walk in the park with the new Ford Explorer. Become the MVP of the work site with the unrivaled performance of a new built Ford Tough F-Series truck, the best-selling trucks in America. Or discover what it really means to adventure in the great outdoors with a new Bronco Sport. Whether it's for work or play, there's a Ford with a great deal waiting at your local Northland Ford dealers. Don't wait. Get behind the wheel of a new Ford today. Based on calendar year total sales.
Wake up at 5. Lace up their skates. You want to see them win state. After all, that's all your kid dreams about. And a strain, sprain, or break doesn't have to take that away. Tria Orthopedic Urgent Care is here for them 7 days a week with no appointment needed. And with Save My Spot, you can reserve your place in line and show up closer to check-in time. With Tria by your side, your body can do amazing things. Visit tria.com/SaveMySpot to learn more.
And 142 to go here in period number 2. Shots right now 25-13 in favor of the Flames. More importantly, they lead by a score of 3-0. One of those being a power play goal, face off deep in the Minnesota zone to the left of Philip Gustafsson. Seems to be set in his position.
Eriksson and Kadri on the draw. Eriksson muscled it back. Brodin left side, skates the Wild ahead. Jonas Brodin gains the red line, fires it in. Right wing towards Foligno, chunked it down low. Bottled up by a couple of red jerseys. In to support Eriksson, tipped it free for Boldy. He'll sprayed up at the right point favor. Into the high slot, Eriksson turning, shooting one, and a stick save by Wolf. I don't think he saw it the whole way, but he knocked it out of play.
Did it hit the iron? I'm not sure. I thought I heard it hit the iron. Maybe not, but at least it's a shot to the net. And that's what Minnesota's lacking right now. They've got to get some shots here.
That would be the third post if it did graze the iron. I thought maybe it hit the shaft of the stick of Wolf. Here's one more look on the overhead cam on the video board. And tough to see, maybe hitting both the goal stick.
It didn't go the way we wanted it to go. We know that.
Eriksson and Backlund now on the draw. Remember, the Flames coughed up a late lead in Anaheim just a couple of nights back. 2 goals allowed in 9 seconds in the third period. They saw a 3-1 lead evaporate, lost 4-3 in overtime. That point that they lost in the standings looms very large, especially if the Flames find success tonight. And the Wild win and they're in. 3 points of any variety tonight, tomorrow, or Tuesday against Anaheim, they also get it. Anything less than that, they need the Flames to scuffle down the stretch. Backlund, a side angle chance, whistled wide. Coronado grabs it, pumps it around the Wild net. Final minute of the second. Blake Coleman there for Calgary. Texas native twisted to Coronado. Jammed back around where ball at the left point. Fired one. Muted in front by Faber. Slashed along out the center then by Brock Faber, the 22-year-old. Foligno pressures ball. Skates in his own zone to his left. Frisbeed it ahead. It hit a glove of a Calgary player. Faber then the Boldy. Jams it behind the net. Wolf, another good job to come out and stop it for his defense. Rasmus Anderson then just able to force it out the center where Merrill goes D-to-D to Bogosian. Half minute left. Wild in early, so they clear the line and go for a change as ball goes D-to-D. Rasmus Anderson slapped the pass ahead. The Coronado deflects deep. Final 20 seconds of period 2. Merrill to Bogosian. Zach Bogosian, right wing wall, skies it ahead. Boldy out of midair, knifed it free. Kaprizov sends it in. 10 to go in the period. Hanley tries to reverse. Weegar absorbed it, threw it through his own slot. Sharangovich picks his head up, rifles at the Pospisil, tipped along Frost with 2 seconds left. Frost in, did switch backhand, and Gustafsson at the buzzer made a save with his left arm to keep the lead from the Flames from becoming 4 goals.
Yeah, you're right down the very last few seconds, and all of a sudden it's an opportunity for the Flames, and Gus is there to make the save again.
So, after 2 periods of play in Calgary, the deficit at 3 for the Wild, and a win and in game for Minnesota. They'll have plenty of work to do, being outshot by a 2-1 margin, 26-13 after 40 minutes here at Scotiabank Saddledome. Tom Reed's Hotline recap of the first 40 minutes comes your way after this. You're listening to Wild Hockey, presented by XL Energy.
As a sports fan, I just want the games. Right now, it's practically a full-time job to figure out which bundle I need. But with the SiriusXM app, it's done the bundling for me.
It is gone, a grand slam!
I don't have to go anywhere else to get every MLB, NFL, NBA, and NHL game. When there's a college game on, I just search for the school on the SiriusXM app.
Holy smokes, what a play!
With the all-access plan in the SiriusXM app, I've got the sports world in the palm of my hand.
To the end zone, touchdown!
No bundle required.
NHL Morning Skate.
December 15th, Vancouver Canucks were in the playoffs. And this is when they had that big controversy going on. So they had to do something about it. And they did do something about it. Well, now they're not in the playoffs. You know what? They're not even really close anymore. This is the most absurd season falling apart. The most disappointing team this season of the 32 are the Vancouver Canucks.
NHL Morning Skate with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellick. Weekdays 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app. The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
General manager of the Winnipeg Jets, Kevin Cheveldayoff. What would finishing first overall mean to the organization, Kevin?
Well, I think anytime that, you can finish in an area where you're getting recognized, it's special. But again, the important thing for us is process. Is when we buy into playing the way we need to play, then, we feel comfortable that we'll win more games than not. And then you let the chips fall where they may.
The Power Play, weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app.
It's soccer's most thrilling league.
Only the Premier League can make you feel like this.
And now every match is on the SiriusXM app.
Can you believe it?
From the title race.
This is remarkable.
Keeps this title charge on track, surely. To the relegation fight.
The impossible may still be possible.
Hear every English Premier League match on SiriusXM FC 157 and the SiriusXM app. Just search for your favorite club.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91.
The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind Ristolainen, walks in, put it between his legs, shoots it, score!
NHL play-by-play on SiriusXM. Hockey lives here.
Suzuki sweeps it. There's a chance. Rebound, Caulfield shoots and scores.
NHL play-by-play on SiriusXM.
Join me, Scott Laughlin, and Gord Stellick, along with former NHLer Mike Johnson for NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings, 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91.
The world's most thrilling league is now in the palm of your hand. Hear every English Premier League match all season long on the SiriusXM app. Just search for your favorite team.
The best hockey lives here.
Burns gets it back, stick handles to the backhand, moves in front, score!
NHL play-by-play on SiriusXM.
It's time for Tom Reed's Hotline. Text in your comments or questions to 64686. You could win fabulous prizes, including dinner at Tom Reed's Hockey City Pub or wild tickets to a future game. And now, Tom Reed's Hotline.
We knew this was going to be a tough game, and holy moly, it has been. Through 40 minutes, the Wild are down 3-0 to the Calgary Flames. Get those questions, and now 64686. We'll take your questions right to Tom Reed at the Scotiabank Saddledome. That's where he's at with 18,566 of his closest friends. We knew, Tom, the Flames were going to be sufficiently motivated into this one, and boy, oh boy, have they flexed their muscle thus far.
Yeah, they really have. They've played very well. The goaltender has not been tested very much. Minnesota's had a couple of good chances, but can't find the back of the net yet. But the Flames, they came out with their legs are moving. They're using their physical advantage they have in this hockey game as well, and they're making the most of it. But Minnesota's got to find a way because, you're going to run out of runway here pretty quick here. This is game number 80 for Minnesota, just two after tonight, the one being tomorrow in Vancouver. And then, of course, you look at the Flames. This is game number 79 for them, so they got a few to go yet, trying to make their way back in the playoff picture.
Let's jump into these questions that were sent in at 64686, starting with the 320 area code. Tom, do you see any type of goalie rotation going forward, especially once, knock on wood, the Wild make the playoffs and they get into the first round? Do you see it being the Gus bus all the way, or do you see Fleury working away into the rotation?
I think Gus is going to get the majority of work unless something happens to him. But right now, I think will we get a chance to see Fleury once again? I hope so. But that means Minnesota's got to win a game because right now they're going to ride with Gus until this thing is over.
In fact, Daniel wants to talk about Marc-Andre Fleury. Saw him the other night. Circumstances that he probably didn't prefer, giving up 7 goals in that contest. But yeah, he did. He got the win, and he set a record for most overtime wins by an NHL goaltender. That said, how would you? The question from Dan in Wisconsin is, how do you measure what he's meant to this franchise in the time that he's been here?
Here's a guy that's approaching 1,050 games in the NHL, and how many games did he sit on the bench as a backup? Also, Kevin, that's another number that we're not quite sure. But what career he's had. This is his 21st season in the National Hockey League, and he's gone to the 17 consecutive trips until last year to the playoffs. He's put his team in a position to make some good things happen all those years, and of course he's got some Stanley Cups. He's got, he's just one of those guys that he eludes just has the confidence that he can do some things, but he also gives confidence to the guys on the ice who's playing with him at that point too. But he's had a terrific career, and I don't know if you're ever going to see anybody have that many games again.
No, that's crazy numbers, no doubt. From the 715 area code, a topic of conversation here the last few days has been Zeev Buium, runner-up on the Hobey Baker, had a wonderful career at DU and is ready to turn pro. You talked about him with Mike Murray, their assistant general manager, in the first intermission. Zeev Buium, where do you see him fitting into the lineup? Does he get games in the postseason? And when does he skate in his first NHL contest?
Well, he's not signed yet, so they can't play him as yet. Right now, of course, we're hoping he might get the Hobey Baker Award this year. It did not go to him, but at the same time, he's had a terrific career. He's one of those guys also, Kevin. You look, he was Minnesota's the number 12 overall in the year 2024 in that draft. But he's one of those guys. He's skilled. He's creative. He's elusive. He's hard to play against, and there's no question. And he went to Shadow St. Mary's for a couple of years also, as a 14-year-old and a 15-year-old, and then of course the last couple of years with Denver in the NCHC. He's played 83 games for them with 98 points over those 2 years. But he's a guy that I think will fit in pretty well, and he's got a little bit of an edge to him too. I'm watching him on some of the clips that we've been able to see. So hopefully he can make some good things happen once he gets the opportunity to play at this level.
From Ben and Beatrice, listening in from Washington, D.C., probably using the free Minnesota Wild app, maybe using the free iHeartRadio app, maybe listening on Wild.com. However you're doing it from D.C., welcome. And when you're in Calgary, the first name that comes to my mind, Jerome McGinley here in more recent years, but how about Lanny McDonald? They want your memories of Lanny McDonald, his red hair and that great big fluffy mustache.
Yeah, and he's still got that big mustache too. And I just had a picture up here a little bit earlier in this game. And of course, if you remember, Lanny had a very serious heart attack at the airport one time, and there happened to be a couple of nurses there that saved his life, and he's never forgotten that. But he was a tough competitor to play against also. And I'm not saying from a physical standpoint, but just hard to play against because he's such a skilled player. But I've known Lanny for a long time. We've interviewed him on the air right here on this station going back a few years ago, Joe and Kevin. And the one thing that when you think of Lanny, you think of a guy that really has the ability to draw people towards him and make a team better. He certainly did that over the years.
This might be one of my favorite questions that we've ever got from Jason in Brainerd. Tom, what exactly does Joe O'Donnell do during the intermissions?
I think he goes down and tries to find some candy if he can. But he likes to walk around. I mean, he talks to people. I mean, you try and get out of the booth a little bit as much as you can, just to be a part of it and check out the standings. It's nice to go to the arenas and see what they have too. And should mention, this building is really busy for hockey. You've got 3 different teams here. You've got the junior team, which is one of the premier junior teams in North America. Then you've got, of course, the AHL with the Wranglers, and then you have also the Flames that we're looking at here tonight. Now you got 3 teams operating this building, and they are building a new building. It's already started. They expect it to be done in 3 years, and it's $1.3 billion to build it. But it's right next door to where the building is right now. So this will become the parking lot, and what was a parking lot will become the new arena.
The Saddle Dome was the one that was underwater, right? That wasn't that long ago, was it?
This going back probably 10 years ago or so, I would think. And the thing is, they were telling me that on the ice level, the water came up 14 rows into this building, and everything, all their equipment they had is in the basement. Everything was covered in mud, and they got this. It was in June, I think, the problem, and they still were able to open the season in this building. It's amazing the amount of work they had to do to make it viable to play the league. It was 2013 was the time of the flood.
Yeah, that's a lot longer ago than I thought it was. I remember it like yesterday. Thanks, Tom.
Thank you.
Tom Reed out there at the Saddle Dome, not underwater. By the way, Jason and Brainerd, you were wondering what Joe O'Donnell does during the intermissions. I don't think Tom even knows this. He walks around with Sharpies, and if you want an autograph, he hopes someone asks for him. He'll just sign autographs. Sometimes you don't even ask. He'll just sign something, hand it to you, and say, "Hey, Joe O'Donnell here. Welcome." It's really weird. Weird tradition by the voice of the Minnesota Wild, Joe O'Donnell. Wild down 3-0 after 2 periods. We'll take a break, and we'll get you a full recap next. This is Wild Hockey.
Bass. Ride the rhythm. And move to the dance hits and remixes that defined a generation. In Utopia. A channel pulsing with 90s rave classics and iconic 2000s club anthems. Utopia. Channel 341 or at home on your phone, computer, Alexa, TV, or other internet-connected devices.
NHL Morning Skate.
December 15th, Vancouver Canucks were in the playoffs. And this is when they had that big controversy going on. So they had to do something about it. And they did do something about it. Well, now they're not in the playoffs. You know what? They're not even really close anymore. This is the most absurd season falling apart. The most disappointing team this season of the 32 are the Vancouver Canucks.
NHL Morning Skate with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellick. Weekdays 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
General Manager of the Winnipeg Jets, Kevin Cheveldayoff. What would finishing first overall mean to the organization, Kevin?
Well, I think anytime that, you can finish in an area where you're getting recognized, it's special. But again, the important thing for us is process. Is when we buy into playing the way we need to play, then, we feel comfortable that we'll win more games than not. And then you let the chips fall where they may.
The Power Play. Weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind, wrist the line, and walks in, put it between his legs, shoots it, scores!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM. The best hockey lives here.
Burns gets it back, stick handles to the backhand, moves in front, score!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM.
Wild fans, score up to $2,600 in tax credits when you upgrade your home comfort system by purchasing a qualifying Bryant Evolution heating and cooling system. And with a 10-year replacement warranty from Bryant, you'll have peace of mind for a decade. Contact your local Bryant dealer and ask about tax credits, local rebates, and financing available for qualified buyers. Visit Bryant.com for more details. Bryant, whatever it takes, official heating and cooling company of the Minnesota Wild. As the official partner of the Minnesota Wild, Enterprise is ready to go that extra mile. We're dedicated to the most dedicated fans in the game. And with us on your team, you can move forward with confidence, knowing we've got your back. We're always available with mobility solutions, whether you need a rental, replacement, truck, or even tailored business strategies. At Enterprise, your goal is our goal, and we're ready with the assist.
Wake up at 5. Lace up their skates. You want to see them win state. After all, that's all your kid dreams about. And a strain, sprain, or break doesn't have to take that away. Tria Orthopedic Urgent Care is here for them 7 days a week with no appointment needed. And with Save My Spot, you can reserve your place in line and show up closer to check-in time. With Tria by your side, your body can do amazing things. Visit tria.com/SaveMySpot to learn more.
Traveling with the Minnesota Wild has never been easier. Introducing Wild Travel, a book seats experience, the official fan travel platform of your Minnesota Wild. It's your one-stop shop to bundle game tickets with flights and hotels, saving you up to 30%. With Wild Travel, you can customize your official Minnesota Wild package for any game and never worry about hidden fees. Plan your next trip today at bookseats.com. Wild Travel, a book seats experience.
Hey Wild fans, Minnesota-based and family-owned Old Dutch Foods has been creating taste sensations for generations of hometown Wild fans for over 90 years. Stock up on your favorite Old Dutch Game Day snacks at your local grocery stores to make Game Day a win. Old Dutch is a proud supporter of Wild hockey. Let's go Wild!
Old Dutch potato chips. Old Dutch, the snappy chips.
Old Dutch, quality lives here.
Snappy Old Dutch potato chips.
Hey Wild fans, it's game day and your hockey fandom needs fuel. With over 30 locations across the Twin Cities and western Wisconsin, Carboni's Pizza has successfully been fueling hockey season since 1954. Whether you're gearing up for puck drops, celebrating a win, or just hungry for pizza the whole family loves, Carboni's delivers every time. Fuel your fandom with a slice of the neighborhood, a slice of the game, and a slice of Wild pride. Find your nearest Carboni's location today at carbonis.com.
Third period in Calgary. The Wild trail the Flames 3-0. Not an ideal situation for Minnesota, but going to play the hand they're dealt here. Wild from left to right on your radio dial in the third. Flames from right to left. We'll see what Minnesota has in store, trying to come from the dead in this one. Remember, they rallied in late November in this building. Eventually got to the shootout. Huberdeau for the Flames. Chisels one free, looking for Klapka. Klapka in early, drew himself offside.
Important period for Minnesota also. They have to get ready for the game tomorrow also. So you want to get something going offensively here in this game if you can. Just to get a little more confidence in your game. After this game tonight, Vancouver tomorrow night, the final game will be on April the 15th for Minnesota against Anaheim in St. Paul.
Wild with back-to-back 40-plus shot efforts. Last time they did that, January of 2022. Just the sixth time in franchise history, back-to-back games with 40 or more shots. But they have just 13 here as we start the third in Calgary tonight. Eriksson Ek hits the red line, soars it in. Boldy races to it just ahead of Hanley. Hanley wraps him up. Boldy let it come free. Eriksson Ek sprayed one of the points. Spurgeon back out for Minnesota. That's a great sign. He'll go D to D. Chisholm left wing with a wrister off the glass. So Spurgeon missed basically the entire second period, Tom, but what a warrior back out there.
Yeah, absolutely. And I wonder what happened to him. Going off the ice, he looked like he was in a great deal of pain.
Eriksson Ek banked one up top. Spurgeon, a Boldy, a shot whistle just wide. Klapka has it for the Flames. Snapped it along. Too far for Huberdeau. Icing on Calgary. With a minute 9 gone by in the third.
And I mentioned about Minnesota and what they have left, but I look at Calgary also. They do not have an easy road. They have the San Jose Sharks coming up, which will be a home game here. Then they've got the Vegas Golden Knights, I believe, and then the LA Kings at LA. So they've got three very difficult teams.
That game on the 17th is the makeup game from the LA Fires that postponed their contest at Crypto.com Arena a few months back. Wild win the draw. Faber at center point. Takes a look. Fires one. Blocked out in front by Weegar, who slashes at it. Good keep by Kaprizov, holding the line as Faber crept in. Kaprizov rimmed it in the right wing corner. Rossi to Faber. Paddle down low. Zuccarello. Try to absorb a check. Flames take over. They dig it up, not out. Kept in by Faber. Lifted into the right wing corner. Again, Zuccarello battles there. Centering pass, ricocheted around. Rossi's got it back in the net. Rossi banks it off the boards. Brodin a drive. Stick save Wolf. Kaprizov to the loose puck. Left wing side, Kirill Kaprizov from low to high. Brodin fakes a shot. Rolled it to Faber. Firing one to the back post for a tip. And that caught the glass off the tape of Rossi. And the Flames spring it down. But a good start for the Wild, Tom, forcing some icing calls. Coming out with a sense of urgency in the third.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. The sense of urgency is exactly what they needed coming into this third period, and they're getting that right now. But having the captain back on the bench also helps a great deal. We're hoping that will continue and keep the puck in the offensive zone.
Wednesday, the Wild picked up their 19th comeback win of the season. Because, of course, the Sharks led for stretches of that hockey game. Gaudreau and Kadri on the draw to the left of Wolf, who had a quote a couple of weeks back saying that there was belief in the locker room. I'm paraphrasing here, but basically said the Flames are going to get in. As Bogosian, a drive blocked by Klapka off the one face-off. Bogosian left point. Whistles it down around the net. Picking it up, coming out. Kaprizov, a wraparound bit. It leaked through the blue pane, and Wolf's on top of it.
Minnesota being a little more aggressive here at the start of this third period, and that's what they're looking for at this stage. You look at that second period also, and you look at shots in net, 12-6 in favor of the Flames. And, of course, they picked up a couple goals on those shots.
It was 5 days ago. Dustin Wolf, the Flames' young goaltender. Continue that thought in a moment as Merrill works one of the slots. Spinning Johansson had it poked away by Anderson. The Flames golf at it. Coronado getting it up. Blake Coleman from the seat of his pants gave it away. Kaprizov left wing side. Tried to stash it in front. That's blocked. Around his own net. Backlund chops it free. Coleman makes a safe play trying to clear out. Merrill pinched in and kept him at bay. Now it's Ball. Tripped up a bit. Lost the puck. Merrill down low, deep in the offensive zone. Blake Coleman there. He reversed it. Merrill skates to this puck. Merrill deep pass a check. John Merrill with a shot. He pushed it just wide. Wild bench standing here. I think they recognize what's going on early in the third, but the Wild needs something to find the back of the net. Johansson spun it around, out of the reach of Kaprizov. Bogosian pinched in. Now Merrill carves it down low. Kaprizov centered. It was out of the reach of Hartman. Coronado carries the Flames ahead and spikes it in the Wild slot. Getting to it, Hartman, checked by Coleman. And he'll settle things down, Ryan Hartman. Off to John Merrill, swerve back for Hartman. Just over 3 minutes gone by in the third. Bogosian behind his own net, cuts out left circle. Smacked the pass ahead, Hartman. Left it back for Hennis. Throws it a bat in from the red line right side. Wolf with his goal stick. Reversed it. Pahal away from some pressure. Sharon Govich now used the ice beneath him to escape the Wild forecheck and then trickled it free for Pahal. His up ice pass deflected. Pospisil floats it in for Calgary. Garrett Spurgeon back for the Wild. Off to Declan Chisholm. Left wing feed. Trenyon taps in. And it throws the pressures Jake Bean. Bean spins. Pushed it past the Wild pressure. Flames get it out to center. Faber just shy of the red line right wing boards. Swung it across to Chisholm. Handed it back to Faber. Both teams have just finished a change. Faber gallops to the red line. Worked it to Eriksson. He tried to spring it in. Wild in a little bit early there, so they have to clear the zone. That gives a bit of a free pass for Mackenzie Weegar, the former Florida Panther. Knuckles it along for Rooney. Rooney jars it in. Faber back left wing wall, reversed it. Lomberg there. Played it back behind the Wild cage where Faber bottles it up along his end wall. Brodin skated ahead of Rooney. Played it to Foligno. Good pass for his own slot to Eriksson, who whipped it up ice. Broken up by the Flames defense in the form of Weegar. Now Farabee by his bench, bumped by Brodin as he labels it in. 4.5 minutes played in the third. 3-0 the deficit for Minnesota. Goldie on a stretch pass tips in from the offensive blue line. Rasmus Anderson to pound it around. Klapka tips free for Kadri in a one-on-one with Bogosian. Nazem Kadri cut through the slot. A quick shot sticked away by Gustafsson. Goldie chiseled the rebound out the center. Back is Rasmus Anderson for Calgary. No peeled along. Klapka tips to Kadri. Now Huberdeau. Jonathan Huberdeau, left circle, spun it back, a drive-by ball, deflected high and wide, ends up in the netting, and down a play with 15:02 to go in the third.
Yeah, and that's going to keep the face-off deep in the Minnesota zone. Well, on Tuesday, we're celebrating you at Fan Appreciation Night, presented by Toyota. Enjoy an action-packed game with tons of prizes, giveaways, and all things Wild. And every fan in attendance will walk away with an exclusive Marc-Andre Fleury poster. So get your tickets today at wild.com/hockey-tickets.
So again, Flames goalie Dustin Wolf about a week ago, after a tough one, they got away from them. Said, we're the underdogs. We came into the year with everybody saying we're going to suck, and look at us now. We're fighting for our lives to sneak in, and you know what? We're going to get in. In the meantime, this one stings, but we move on to the next one. Well, they had another one sting with that overtime loss in Anaheim Wednesday, but here they are on top of the Wild 3-0. Trying to stay alive. Win by Minnesota. And they're into the Stanley Cup playoffs for the 14th time in franchise history. Garrett Spurgeon back for a loose puck for the Wild. Over to Chisholm. On the tape of Kaprizov. Cuts through his own slot, picks his head up, fakes a pass, dances along and fed it to Chisholm. Left wing side, Declan Chisholm, past a bit of trouble. Spurgeon follows up the play. Now Caprice off to the high slot for Rossi, and it just bounced away and out the center.
Boy, how many times have we seen that puck just off the mark a little bit, and that's enough to take away an opportunity for Minnesota.
Chisholm to Rossi, flips it into the Flame zone. Sharon Govich, who has a goal in this hockey game. Around the Calgary net. Now Pahal to Pospisil. Jake Bean takes it from him and pushes it deep in the Wild zone. Frost carved it around the Wild end board. Sharon Govich cut off by Kaprizov. Bouncing puck in the Wild slot. Is slashed away of Zuccarello. Whistles it off his end wall. It is Brodin to angle it free. Faber takes it left wing side. Backhanded a pass and some skates. Pospisil turns it back over. And Kaprizov in through his own slot. Goes for a change as he feeds Brodin. Time becoming a factor, to say the least. Under 14 minutes to go. Johansson through center. His pass broken up by Rooney. Rooney played it softly in the Wild zone. Brodin to his right. Off the boards, Freddie Gaudreau. Waited patiently and found Nyquist. Up along now the right wing boards, Marcus Johansson. Johansson cuts deeper in the Flame zone. Johansson around the net of Wolf. Bothered by ball, so he shoved it back around where at the right point Bogosian hustles a shot that Nyquist tipped wide. Grabbing it, Farabee. Run off the puck there by Gaudreau. Nyquist to the point. Merrill left side. Goes D-to-D. Bogosian loads. Fires one. And ricochets straight up into the air. Knocked down by the glove of Lomberg. He didn't get it out. It's Nyquist to hold in. Right wing side, Gustav Nyquist. Squeezed it down low for Johansson. Whips it around for Merrill. Outside the left circle, John Merrill. On the pop-out play, Gaudreau. Try to saucer it in front. Farabee batted it away and clears the center.
Good period by Minnesota, but getting no luck.
Here's Nyquist on a reset. Carrying in, feeding Bogosian. Right circle, Bogosian has a lane. Took a shot, hit the outside of the net. Nyquist to it. He'll peel it back at the right point. Johansson waits there. Johansson fanned on it. Look out, Lomberg. Lomberg's got a break. Bogosian trying to catch him. Ryan Lomberg in alone. He scores. It's 4-0 Calgary off the giveaway at the blue line. The Flames have put their stamp on this one.
Yeah, Johansson tried to handle it at the blue line. Couldn't do so. And Lomberg has great speed also. Comes in there, makes no mistake. He goes on the 6th side of the goaltender. With that, it's in the net. And gives his team a 4-0 lead. This goal coming at 7 minutes and 20 seconds of the third period.
Won the Stanley Cup last year with Florida. Marc-Andre Fleury just went down the tunnel. I think we have a goalie change here, Tom. And I'm wondering if this is because of the back-to-back. If they want to start Gustafsson tomorrow, get Fleury in there now, and here he comes. Gustafsson's unaware. And now he realizes that Fleury's going to replace him.
You can't fault the goaltender. They're just trying to get something on track here to get him a little bit of a rest. You pointed out, Joe, and the fact also that, and the players realize it. And I think Gus is also, he's just walking down the corridor towards the dressing room right now. Fleury's in the net. Of course, he does not get a warm-up.
Ryan Lomberg on the video board on the Flames bench, further pumping up this already electric crowd. Fleury gave up 7 goals Wednesday. The most he's ever allowed in a win in his NHL career. Just the 6th time ever, he's given up 7 or more. So it feels like the Wild looking for a spark, of course, with Fleury in net, but maybe more importantly, looking ahead to tomorrow in Vancouver. Again, 3 points of any variety for the Wild get it done. So, say for instance they go to Vancouver tomorrow and get the win, pick up a point against the Ducks. No matter what the Flames do down the stretch, they can't catch the Wild, who have the tiebreaker for regulation wins. Anything less than that, the Wild have to do some scoreboard watching, and the Flames again have that game in hand. As Boldy escapes some pressure, darts into the Flame zone, smack the pass along that ricochets back out the center. Fleury out to communicate to Brock Faber. Deep in his own zone, sent it around the Wild net. Klapka's there for Calgary. Adam Klapka to Huberdeau. At the point now, Rasmus Andersson spins it into the corner. Brodin and Klapka come together. Kadri on it. Left it off in no man's land. Brodin with an up-ice pass for Boldy, who weaves ahead and lofts it in off the glass. Polino, the first man there, left wing corner offensive zone. One at the center was bottled up, blocked, and Klapka now carries the Flames along. Bounce pass left wing side for Coleman, stood up by Bogosian. That creates a chance for the Wild to counter. The Flames come back in numbers. Coleman's pass ricocheted around. Rossi and Klapka together. Klapka won the battle. it's tapped into Minnesota ice. It'll be a long 10 minutes and 50 seconds for the Wild. And the Flames will host the Sharks on Sunday. Then Vegas in this building for the second time in just a couple of weeks. As Tom said, they wrap up in LA on the 17th. They have no idea if a few of those games will matter down the stretch. But for right now, they put themselves in a spot to stay alive, leading the Wild 4-0 here on home ice.
Yeah, and this is where I expect to watch the Flames. They're just going to try and battle up that neutralized area as best they can, play a defensive part of the game.
And again, Calgary 31st in scoring out of 32 teams. Here's Rossi in the slot, a shot kicked out by Wolf. However, against Minnesota, they've scored now 13 goals in just under 3 meetings. 6 of those tallies on the man advantage. Jake Bean carries Calgary ahead, and now it's Farabee. Outside the right circle, center to Borrello, intercepted on the backside pressure. Hacks it along, Kaprizov tipped it free. Rossi slowed down and dumped by Pahal. His second big hit of the game. Fleury out with his goal stick. Smacks it to the right wing side, Spurgeon. Feeds Rossi, chipped it in. He was shy of the red line, but icing waved off. 9.5 minutes left, the Wild down 4-0. Here's Yegor Sharangovich, bursting through the middle of the ice. Sharangovich in, toe drag moving a shot, tipped wide by Brodin. It's gathered by Faber, hacked along for Goudreau. Sharangovich takes back over, he'll beat Pahal, who flips it behind the Wild net. Faber cuts to his left, on his backhand, spiked it ahead for Nyquist. 3-on-3 through center, Nyquist jammed on the brakes, good pass for Goudreau. Freddie Goudreau into the flame zone, right side curled up. Late help coming for Goudreau as he spins again. Labeled to the point. Faber a hurried shot off the end wall. Trenyon got to it and he fanned on his bid. Anderson clears it up. And out the center ice, Sharangovich now skies it off the curved glass. And a whistle.
And how many times have we seen those shots being flubbed by Minnesota in this hockey game? They just don't seem to get the blade on the ice, on the puck properly when they take those shots.
8:54 left. The Wild down 4-0. You're listening to Wild Hockey, presented by XL Energy.
Feel the excitement of the UEFA Champions League knockout stage on Sirius XM FC. Europe's best clubs.
What a start for Inter!
And Barca are level! Brilliant Arsenal goal! The world's brightest stars.
Mbappe! Kane! Rafinha!
All chasing club soccer's ultimate prize.
A new page in their glorious history.
The Champions League knockout stage, where legends are made. On Sirius XM FC, channel 157 in the car, and the Sirius XM app.
NHL Morning Skate.
December 15th, Vancouver Canucks were in the playoffs. And this is when they had that big controversy going on. So they had to do something about it. And they did do something about it. Well, now they're not in the playoffs. You know what? They're not even really close anymore. This is the most absurd season falling apart. The most disappointing team this season of the 32 are the Vancouver Canucks.
NHL Morning Skate with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellick. Weekdays 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind, wrist the line, and walks in, put it between his legs, shoots it, score!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM. The world's most thrilling league is now in the palm of your hand. Hear every English Premier League match all season long on the Sirius XM app. Just search for your favourite team.
Well, 8:54 to go here in the third period. Minnesota has not scored a goal yet. They had just 13 shots showing in the big board. And at the other end, though, they've had 4 goals scored by the 6 of the Calgary Flames. They had 29 shots on a goal. And right now the faceoff is at center ice. Oh, boy.
The Wild, one of the best teams on the road for a large stretch this year. Haven't won away from home ice since March the 4th in Seattle. A skid that started, oddly enough, in Vancouver, where they'll play tomorrow. Winless in 5 on the road for Minnesota. Hartman battles in front of the Flames bench. Calgary came up the puck for a moment. Trenyon tried to rumble in. Nothing there. Rooney now spins. Merrill kept it. Trenyon through the high slot to John Merrill. Left circle. Hacked out a bit. Spins out of the corner. Is passing to no man's land. It's tipped but held in by Hinostroza. Rifles a shot. Stick saved by Wolf. Flames find Lomberg. Tapped along and Farabee gets it out the center. Hinostroza to Bogosian. Jack Bogosian lobbed it along. Hartman tips in. Wolf out with his goal stick. Lomberg couldn't clear. Trenyon got some help from the referee there, who bumped into Mackenzie Weegar. Trenyon rolled it around the Flames' end wall. Hinostroza sent it down low. Trenyon to Faber. Left circle a shot blocked in front by Weegar. Leads the team in that category, and the Flames get it ahead now through center. In fact, Mackenzie Weegar 6th in the entire NHL in blocks. Here's Brock Faber to carry the Wild along. You know, Tom, I go back to that first goal by the Flames. John Hines talked about details, tightening up, miscommunication between Gustafsson and Faber. Results in the Flames' first goal and a giveaway on what teams often call a goalie handle. Moments later, Rossi on the deflection hits the post. That could have obviously swung the momentum, and since then, Calgary has really put their stamp on this game.
Yeah, and even Lomberg getting the goal on the breakaway there, giving the puck away of Minnesota at the offensive blue line.
Eriksson, a one-timer, easily stopped by Wolf, who read it well. Flames fail to clear Foligno, right circle, try to center. Faber keeps in as that pass deflected along. Klapka now on his forehand, couldn't clear. Pitchfork down low by Boldy. Punch to his right by Wolf, and the Flames this time scale it off the glass. And out of play. And then Anderson took a swipe at Eriksson, who gave him a little jab back. Foligno right in there. With 7:03 to go, and the Flames leading 4-0.
Yeah, Minnesota, the execution has not gone as hoped by Minnesota in this game at this point. Fleury in the net, coming in after Gus was given a rest, and we think it's going to be the rest because we'll see what happens tomorrow in Vancouver.
7:03 to go. The Wild down 4-0 in Calgary. You're listening to Wild Hockey presented by XL Energy.
Hey, Wild fans, you want your family to be warm and comfortable during our Minnesota winters, right? That's why it's good to know the knowledgeable and friendly dealers at Bryant Heating and Cooling, who will do whatever it takes to keep your heating system running safely and efficiently, no matter what the weather throws at you. Plus, score up to $2,600 in tax credits on qualifying Bryant systems and ask about rebates and financing for qualified buyers. Find your local dealer at Bryant.com. Bryant, official heating and cooling company of the Minnesota Wild.
At the Home Depot, we know the world is a messy place. Keeping it clean takes science. That's why businesses everywhere have long trusted cleaning products from Ecolab to take on the toughest messes. And now, that level of clean is available for your home. Introducing Ecolab Scientific Clean, a full line of professional-grade cleaning products for all your home's needs, so you can clean like you mean business. Now available exclusively at the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
Scoreboard update.
4 other games tonight in the National Hockey League, and they're all final. The Senators beat the Canadiens 5-2. Shane Pinto, a pair of goals in the victory for Ottawa. The Red Wings use overtime to get past the Lightning 4-3. That one was in Tampa Bay. The Penguins go to New Jersey and double up the Devils 4-2. And the Oilers also double up the Sharks 4-2 tonight in Edmonton. Those are your finals. Back to Joe and Tom in Calgary.
You know, it's interesting also, Joe, you look at the shots on that right now. Minnesota with 15 shots in this hockey game, and they've had, just 2 shots in this third period. And they actually controlled things for the most part, but they're not getting the offense that they need.
7:03 left, neutralized draw, Rossi, Zuccarello, Kaprizov, Chisholm, and Spurgeon. Flames win the face-off back. Hanley muscles it along. Coleman chunks at it. It ends up in the Wild zone. Spurgeon tries to force it free. Zuccarello now to the weak side to Chisholm, who hits the red line left side and slaps it in. Mackenzie Weegar is back. He'll just sky it safely to center. So Chisholm gloves it down, connects with Spurgeon. On the red line right side, powers it in. Weegar to Hanley. And then Hanley to Backlund, safe play out the centers. Mackenzie Weegar will follow up this rush and trickle it into the Wild zone. So if the score holds and the Wild end up falling in this hockey game, they've been swept in the season series by the Flames, earning just 1 point. And that could be a large reason why. Either they get in or don't when it's all said and done. Do we have too many men on the ice penalty on the Flames or offside on Minnesota? The Wild thinking too many men, but looks like the officials just deem it offside on the Wild.
Yeah, I think it was offside. That'll keep the face-off outside the defensive zone of the Flames as well. With 6:18 to go here, and Minnesota down by 4. Although Is it possible to score 5 goals in that length of time? Well, let's go back to the last game. The last goal scored in that hockey game.
Let's just get 4 and get to overtime in this ring. Flames have only lost in regulation 2 goals by a 1-goal margin. However, they have an NHL leading 14 of the overtime and shootout defeat variety. Think about where they could be with a little bit more success after 60 minutes. Again, just 2 regulation 1-goal losses. They're 18-2 and 14 in 1-goal games. This one, anything but 4-0 Calgary as Frost hits the red line and spikes it in the left of Fleury. Game 1,050 now for Marc-Andre Fleury in his regular season career. Ball through the high slot for the Flames, pushed it down low, swiped away by Faber, and backhanded along Trenyon, chisels it to Johansson, and then Freddie Gaudreau lost it to some pressure, charging in his ball. Evan Ball, deep into the wild zone, spins, angled along for Farabee. Farabee through the high slot to Lomberg, left it back for Rasmus Anderson, a shot knocked down in front. Rooney a bid, shouldered away by Fleury, rebound for Lomberg, he fanned on it. And the Wild come up with this puck, Hinostroza fights his way to center and chops it off the right wing dasher. Rooney back to pick it up, and now Rasmus Anderson up to Lomberg. Charging in, Lomberg a shot! 2-pad stick save by Fleury. He was going to poke check if needed, instead went down and made a big-time stop. Trenyon fires it ahead. Crowd wanted to call as Lomberg got wrestled down on that rush. And it's icing on Minnesota, 4:48 to go.
Yeah, Lomberg with great speed also. He came down there, you could just see just trying to stay with him, and that's what you have to do, and that's Big Bogosian, just staying with him, knocking him down, and Gus has to be prepared where that puck is. That's what he's looking for, not looking at the player so much. He's got to get himself in position to block the shot, which he was able to do.
Face off to the right of Fleury. Kadri and Hartman on the draw. Flames win it back. Joel Hanley with a shot. Fleury the blocker save, punching it to his right. Kadri back up top for Hanley. Spiked it around the Wild cage. Merrill and Klapka come together. Trenyon now pushing one that hit the skates of Hartman. Flanked free for Hinostroza. As he flies it ahead, this is going to have the steam for icing again on Minnesota. 4.5 minutes left. So again, the Flames host the Sharks Sunday. The Wild play tomorrow in Vancouver. So after Minnesota finishes with the Canucks, the Flames are going to have 2 games in hand, and they could be as close as 3 points away.
Yeah, they could be. And, you can't look beyond what's happening in this game. We didn't want to, but all of a sudden now we have to start looking at what's left. You're coming down to the last few games in the National Hockey League. Minnesota just 2 games after this one.
The Wild and Blues tied with 93 points coming in. A steal by Trenyon. He's got a break. Klapka taking a penalty here. Trenyon fighting his way in. Got open in front. He scores! Yakov Trenyon on a delayed call and a breakaway with 4:21 to go has gotten the Wild on the board in Calgary.
Well, it gives them some time. Once again, they got 4:21 to go, as you call it, Joe. And the thing is, you look at how he used his body also to protect the puck. He didn't have the speed there, but he was able to stay ahead of everybody. And he comes in, and on the forehand shot, finds the opening on the stick side, and it's a 4-1 lead now for the Flames. The shots right now on the board are showing 31-16 in favor of Calgary. This goal coming at 15 minutes, 39 seconds.
Yakov Trenyon, 7th of the season. A deficit at 3. Remember, the Flames gave up 2 goals in 9 seconds in Anaheim Wednesday and saw a 3-1 lead evaporate. Backlund and Eriksson Ek on the draw. Wild win it back. Brodin hacks it ahead just out of the reach of Kaprizov. It banks off the end boards right out to the slot, but it's icing on Minnesota. And that's how Calgary, when they gave up that second goal in that 9-second span, it came right off the center ice draw from the previous goal scored by the Ducks on Wednesday. Minnesota had something there, but the pass too far for Kaprizov.
Yeah, and you can see also how far that puck came off the boards, too. It just spring-loaded on that one. And Minnesota trying to get to that puck as quickly as they possibly can. Face-off right now is going to be deep in the Wild zone.
Eriksson Ek and Backlund again on the tie-up. Backlund with a goal in this hockey game, now 8th all-time in Flames history in the goal-scoring department. Second most games only to Jerome McGinley.
Is the 7th of the year. Assist to 15:39. Unassisted, Yakov at 15:39.
Okay, then. Backlund a shot, Fleury the save. Rebound poked away by Fleury. So Yakov, as they called it with a goal, they forgot his last name. He doesn't care. He's on the board, and the Wild within 3. Under 4 minutes left. Brodin to Kaprizov. Pushed it left side, Boldy. Fleury looks to the bench for instructions, comes back to Kaprizov, muscle to Derrickson with a shot. That caught the glass, maybe off the glove of Wolf. Fleury still between the pipes for now. Flames soared ahead. Merrill turns and chases for a bouncing puck. Swept it along Kaprizov, back in onside. Real Kaprizov, right wing wall, pinned up. Missiled one off the side of the net. Ball has it, chiseled it past Erickson. Pospisil trying to jab it out. Merrill pinched in, it clanged off the boards. Maybe John Merrill and into the stands. 3:18 left. How aggressive are you if you're John Hines here, Tom?
Well, you got to do something. You're down by 3 goals, and the chances of them getting a goal at this point is probably pretty slim. Maybe you do play your goaltender once the faceoff is going to be deep in the opposition zone.
We'll have a TV timeout to talk it over. 3:18 left. The Wild down 4-1 in Calgary. You're listening to Wild Hockey, presented by XL Energy.
In hockey and in business, performance matters. Nuss Truck and Equipment delivers top-tier trucks, trailers, and construction equipment from trusted brands like Mack and Volvo. With 10 locations across the state of hockey and beyond, they provide expert sales, parts, and service to keep your fleet moving. Stay ahead of the competition.
Todry moving a shot. He scores!
Visit NUSSGRP.com to learn more.
Cub has everything you need. Fresh food, big savings, and your family's favorites, all in one stop. No running around, just one trip and you're done. Get Smithfield spiral sliced or portion half ham for $1.69 per pound with MyCub Rewards. Fresh boneless skinless chicken breasts in a value pack is $2.49 per pound. And 16-ounce strawberries are 2 for $5 with MyCub Rewards. Grab these deals and more at Cub, your one-stop shop. See store for details.
You have a plan for your business and a vision for its future. So it's important to have a banking partner that works to understand all of your goals and what it will take to help you reach them. Work with a banker who is dedicated to listening first and providing insightful, personalized advice that's right for you and your business. Work with Bremer Bank, because understanding is everything. Put us to work for you today at bremer.com.
Now 3:18 to go. Joe, you're right. Fleury's on the bench. Empty net. You're down by 3. Is this what you do? We'll find out.
Hanley blasts one around the board. Foley pinched in to keep the Wild in business. Rossi trying to jab it along for Kaprizov. Flames shifted it past the reach of everybody in white and back through center. From left to right on your radio dial, Brock Faber back through his own slot for Minnesota. Faber picks us out. Hands it back to Boldy. 3 minutes on the clock. The Wild needing 3 to tie in Calgary. Boldy shifting past some trouble. Feeds Rossi. Bounce down in the right wing corner, hoping for Boldy. Weegar there first. Run by Erickson Ek. He got to Coronado. Nice pass for Backlund. Able to chip it up. And just out the center. It's an offside call in the Wild, and rough stuff here after the whistle.
Yeah, a little bit of a scrum with everybody involved right now. Just a lot of talking going on. I don't think there's any swinging going on. Right inside the defensive zone of the Calgary Flames. I'm watching Justin Walsh. He's getting a well-deserved drink of water, although he has not been tested a great deal in this hockey game.
So we talked about what the Flames have down the stretch. Host the Sharks, host the Golden Knights at the Kings, as Fleury will come back between the pipes because the neutralized draw. As for St. Louis, they're still very much a factor here. The Wild and Flames will have an equal number of games played after tonight. If the Wild don't rally here, they'll be tied with 93 points. Minnesota has the tiebreaker. The Flames are in Seattle tomorrow. Of course, the Wild in Vancouver. Then they come home to host Utah for their final game.
And it may go down to that final game.
Cross-checking exchange here between Coronado and Kaprizov before the face-off. Kaprizov's got to be careful here. If the Wild have any hopes of a comeback bid, they need him on the ice. Those two continue to engage. Puck's now down. It's poked in by the Flames. Rasmus Anderson trying to clear out. Kaprizov knocked that down and whips it around the net. There goes Fleury again. Wolf slams it off his glass. To the left wing side, Boldy won the battle. Now Zuccarello behind the net, trying to pitchfork it free. Anderson got it, not much behind that attempt, and then sent out to center ice for Faber. Able to get it back just through the neutral zone. Kaprizov turned it over. Ball at the center line, waits. Headman's Coronado with a 3-game goal streak coming in. Left it back, Backlund handed it to Coleman, a shot blocked away by Faber. 2:15 left. Minnesota running out of time. Kaprizov carries along. Shy of the red line, banked it ahead. Boldy feeds it in. Bouncing puck in the flame slot. Gobbled up by Anderson. Twisted off the glass to his right. Past Zuccarello and back through center. Faber skates to it. Kaprizov now to Boldy. Trickled it back to Kaprizov through the high slot. Got knocked down off the puck. Foligno keeps it. Foligno to Kaprizov, right wing corner. His pass. Ricochet around. Boldy's got it with some room. Boldy walking in left circle. Cross ice. Kaprizov fanned on it and then threw it in front. Nothing there. Pospisil to the empty net. Just wide. And it's an icing call in Calgary. And boy, Tom, I don't know, just something about Kaprizov's game all night has just looked a little out of sync.
Well, you expect that, though. He hasn't played a lot this year, and that's been a part of the problem with Minnesota. They've had the injuries, but you're out. He's off just a little bit. And it's hard coming back when you've been off as long as he has. I don't care how much you've worked in the weight room and all those things. You got to play in the games to really get your timing down and get rid of some of that rust.
Hartman, Johansson, Chisholm, Nyquist, Foligno, and Gaudreau for Minnesota with 97 seconds left. Empty net behind him. Off the draw, Hartman won it. Johansson high slot with a wrister. Blocked by Pospisil. Coleman couldn't clear. Nyquist, a shot. He scores. Gustav Nyquist has made it a 2-goal game with 90 seconds to go.
Well, you can bet the guy, look at the bench right now, Minnesota's bench, they're all standing up here. They feel good about themselves. They can make something happen here. We'll see if they bring the goaltender back, that being Fleury, for the face-off, which is going to be at center ice. And
he is, Tom, going to come back in.
Yeah.
So Nyquist got to a loose puck, quick release, beat Wolf glove side, right inside the post. It's 4-2. Boy, that goal by Lomberg really looms large now.
Yeah, 16:30 the time of this, 18:30 the time of this goal.
Fleury will start at the hash marks. Puck is down. Flames win the draw back. Hanley was stripped. Boy, nearly stepping free was Nyquist. He was bottled up, played it back. Fleury to the bench now for the extra attacker. Johansson goes way back in his own zone. Under 80 seconds left, Marcus Johansson beats Freddie Gaudreau, right wing wall. Cut past the pressure. Gaudreau left it back then for Chisholm. Flames bottling up the neutral zone. Comes to Hartman. Red line right side. He faked the pass. Wild have to clear the zone. They were in early. Foligno now left wing boards. Jammed it along. It's poked back out the center ice by Calgary. Foot race here. Huberdeau trying to get to it. Huberdeau caught on a diving play by Hartman. So the Wild still have life. 55 seconds left. Johansson gallops ahead. Marcus Johansson over the blue line. Left it back for Nyquist. Right circle. Has a lane if he wants it. Fired a shot. It was ricocheted down in front. Nyquist has it again. Right wing boards. Trying to play it to the point. It comes down low for Hartman. Hartman saucered one of the back posts. Gaudreau grabs it. 38 seconds left. Up top Chisholm. Chisholm waits. Back to Freddie Gaudreau. Left circle. Cross ice for Nyquist. Got to get a shot here. Nyquist waiting. Shooting one in front. Stick save by Wolf. Johansson to it. To Nyquist. Under a half minute left now. Nyquist trying to feed the corner again. Then spun one in front. Cut off by Hanley. Onto the tape of Backlund. He'll cut through center. Feeding Coronado to the empty net. Hit the goalpost. Coronado's back on it. Jammed it in front. Broken up by the Wild, but they're going to run out of time. 10 seconds to go. Johansson off the dasher out the center. Hanley lost it. Foligno charges in. Foligno couldn't get a shot through. 5 seconds to go. And the Calgary Flames are going to stay alive. Upending the Wild 4-2 tonight. And a disappointing result, to say the least, for Minnesota. Had a chance to win and get in. And we'll get down to the final 2 games now, with the Wild leading 3 points to control their destiny and clinch a spot in the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Yeah, they'll be watching Scoreboard, no question about it right now. It's disappointing for Minnesota in this game, but give the Flames credit. They came out, they had a lot of speed. They used their size, they used their weight, and they did a good job of getting that 4-0 lead. But all of a sudden, Minnesota coming back with a couple goals. But now they got to play tomorrow. Another game, back-to-back game. After they get in the aircraft, take about an hour and a half to get there, and then you get that long bus ride from the airport to the hotel.
Flames sweep the season series.